All right, Rumble, are you rumbling? All right, Rumble, are you rumbling? All right, looks like we got that. Now I know what's going on with Facebook. Let's check Twitch real quick, or Twitter. All right, Twitter, are you twittering? Twitter is struggling. Facebook. YouTube. YouTube is good. Facebook, what's up? All right. Only thing left to check is Twitter. YouTube is... All right. We're good to go. 2.5 minutes left. Until the intro. The intro. Ah, the things we do. Nah, I mean. All right, we got The Binding of Isaac tonight. Some crazy weird stuff, that Binding of Isaac, I think. It's not every day that you take your child, your favorite promised son, up the hill to kill him. It's not an everyday event. You can really only do it once per lifetime, really. Unless you chicken out, then I guess you can do it again. Look at me already commenting. Can't help it. All right, we got 40 seconds left. Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds. Some chat is in the chat. Shepherding Shepherd. Yeah, do we have buffering? Sorry. Black Yoda's in the house. Miss 320's in the house. Shepherding Shepherd's in the house. Miss 320 is walking like an Egyptian. All right. Let's get started.
Welcome to the 9dNation.
בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Thousands of years later, it was Wednesday at 11 p.m. Central. Get your passport ready and be prepared to declare to the customs agents any edible plants or miscellaneous worldviews. You're now crossing into the nation with no denomination.
Welcome to what we call the 9dNation, the nation with no denomination. We're on chapter, 21 tonight of Genesis. Every Wednesday night, you get 30 to 45 minutes of Bible reading, followed by commentary from your co-hosts, G. Ross and Black Yoda, and other guests, as they kind of whim themselves in. I'll name them. We'll see if we see them tonight. Often, P-Thaggy, Duppy. Last week, I think, had Belushi. Belushi was either last week or the week before. I think it was last week. Shepherding Shepherd. Here's the question. Have you tried refreshing the browser? I don't know if anyone else is buffering. I will say this. We're broadcasting to Twitch, DLive, YouTube, Foxhole, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. And Rumble. I think I said Twitch twice. So you may want to try the chat in Foxhole, what I do, and then you could watch Twitch would be a good one for the video, maybe. Just a thought. I don't want to send anybody away from the Foxhole, but hey, P-Thaggy's in the house. That's my Pee Wee Herman. All right, so what we've done in Season 2 of 9dNation, which is really become... There is no seasons, but there was a Season 1. Season 2 started with Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, and we've made it all the way up in the first 51 episodes to Genesis chapter 22, verse 34. That can't be right. Are we on verse 23? No, I must have a typo. That must be 21:34. So in our story so far, we've picked up, these are my crib notes. There will be no more water-based resets. No demonic half-breeds. No murder, no blood drinking. Among Japhethites and Hamites, the Shemite Abraham sired full-blood Isaac and Egyptian mutt Ishmael, the wild Elohim-touched archer of Paran. Philistine Abimelech and Abraham negotiated Abraham's land and water deeds peacefully at Beersheba. So with that said, and so that we can get to our panel as soon as we can, and there's lots of notes that I got to go over to set the stage, let's get to the close-ups of this. Rev says, howdy, sound, 5x5. Love it. Okay. Let's get chapter 22, verse 1 through 19. We are going to bind Isaac. Gen 22. Let's do such upbeat music to start off. Now it came about after these things that God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. Then he said, Now take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah. Sounds like Tolkien land or something, right? And offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I will tell you. So Abraham got up early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men with him and his son Isaac, and he split wood for the burnt offering and set out and went to the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day, Abraham raised his eyes and saw the place from a distance. Then Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey, and I and the boy will go over there, and we will worship and return to you. And Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac. And he took in his hand the fire and the knife. So the 2 of them walked on together. Isaac spoke to his father Abraham and said, My father, he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Look, the fire and the wood. But where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham said, God will provide for himself the lamb and the burnt offering, my son. So the 2 of them walked on together. Then they came to the place of which God had told him, and Abraham built the altar there and arranged the wood, and bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham reached out with his hand and took the knife to slaughter his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. He said, Do not reach out your hand against the boy, and do not do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, since you've not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Then Abraham raised his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him was a ram caught in the thicket by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering in the place of his son. And Abraham named that place, "The Lord will provide. As it is said to this day, on the mountain of the Lord it will be provided." Then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven and said, "By myself I have sworn, declares the Lord, because you have done this thing and have not withheld your son, your only son. Indeed, I will greatly bless you. And I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven and as the sand which is on the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of your enemies. And in their seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice." So Abraham returned to his young men. They got up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham lived in Beersheba. Just Jim. You guys were covering this last weekend. This thing. Hey, Commander Sloan sent Impeach 'em all. Was just over watching Commander Sloan for the last couple hours. Love that show. I watch Sloan TV pretty 98% of every night. I just do. Rev says howdy. All right. So before we get into the breaking down of the language, let me attempt to kind of read this in something approximating Hebrew. Let's call it that. I dare say it'll sound Hebraic. It just rolls right off the tongue. Have you noticed that? All right, we'll do verse 1 through 3, then scroll down. All right. Vehi achar hadaverim ha'ele ve'ha'elohim nisa et Avraham vayomer velo Avraham vayomer hineni vayomer kana et bincha et yehidicha asher ahavta et Yitzchak velech lecha el eres hamoria v'ha'alu sham leola al achad ha'harim asher omar elecha. Vayashkim Avraham baboker vayachavos et chamaro vayika et shene naarau itau vit Yitzchak bino vayvaka atse ola vayakem vayelech el hamakon asher ama lo ha'elohim. Let's scroll down. We'll do 4 through 7 and then scroll down again. Vayom hashelishi vayisa Avraham et anau vayer el hamakom marachok vayomer Avraham el nearau shevu lachem po im lachamar va'ani vehanaar nelecha ad ko v'nishtakawe v'nashuva alachem vayika Avraham et atse haola vayasim al Yitzchak Beno. Have you noticed that Yitzchak, Isaac, sounds like Hitchcock? Never caught that before. Beno vayika bayado et haesh v'et hamachelet vayalechu shenehem yachdal. Vayamer Yitzchak. No. Yithk. Wait, hold on, look at verse 7 real close. Vayamer. Yeah, Yitzchak. Al Avraham Avi vayomer Avi vayomer hinene vini vayomer hine haesh vahetzim bayaye halse leola. All right. Verse 8. We'll do 8 through 10, then scroll down. Vayomer Avraham Elohim yira lo halse leola beni vayalechu shenehem yachdal Vayavohu el hamakom asher amar lo ha'elohim vayaven sham Avraham et hamizbeah vayaroch et ha'etzim vayakod et Yitzchak beno vayasem oto al hamizbeah mima al laetzim Vayishlach Avraham et hado vayika et hamachelet lishkot et beno. Verse 11 through 14. Then I'll scroll down. Vayikra elo malach ahaya mi Hashemayim Vayomer Avraham Vayomer Hineni Vayomer Al Tishla Yadacha El Hanaar Ve'el Teas Lo Miuma Ki Ata Yadati Ki Yere Elohim Ata Velo Chasachta Et Bincha Et Yechidecha Mimini Vayisa Abraham Et Anao Vayer Vihene Ayil Achar Neechas Besevak Bekarnau Vayelech Abraham Vayika Et Hayil Vaya Elihu Leola Techat Beno Vayikra Abraham Shim Hemakon Yahu Ahaya Yire Asher Ya'amer Hayom Bahar Ahaya Yire. There's a lot of verses tonight. Verse 15 through 17, and then we'll scroll one more time. Vayikra malach ahaya el Avraham shenit min hashamayim. Vayomer bi nishbati neum ahaya ki ya'an asher asita et hadavar hazeh velo hasachta et bincha et hechidicha ki varach avercha veharba arbe et zaracha ki chauche hashamayim vechachol asher el safat hayim vayirash sharacha et shar uyeva. I sound more like Mel Brooks every week, don't I? Verse 18 and 19, and then we'll call it a day. Vehit barachu bezaracha kol goye haaretz ekev asher shemata bekoli vayashav Avraham el ne'ero vayakumu vayalechu yakda el be'er shava vayashev Avraham bi Iver Shava. Okay, now, because we're going to grind through a lot of story, and it's already 11:12 Texas time, I'm going to cut straight to the words and the breakdown from the word perspective. Okay? Okay. Pythagi. In the chat. Let's see. All right, we're cranking along. All right. Let's see, just checking the screens. All right. So verse 1 has one new word that we have never seen before in the series. Nasa, that's to test or try. There's 36 examples in the Old Testament. It's a seed and a thorn by picture. So it's like a continuous hold. So it would mean it can mean a battle standard also, but it's like a trial or carrying a burden typically. In context, every time I see it, it does keep the meaning test pretty clearly. So to put this verse together, it happened after that Elohim tested Abraham. Abraham, yo! So the Egyptian wild archer Ishmael, Abimelech let Abraham negotiate peacefully some land and water deeds in Philistine, as we knew before. Elohim tested Abraham. So he gets his land deed in Philistine, and then Abraham gets tested. All right. How did he get tested? Let's take a look. Verse 2. Zoom out a bit. We have two new words here we've got to look at. Yachid, that's only one, or solitary. There's only 12 examples in the Law and Prophets. It comes from the door in the wall that brings people on each side of the wall together. So it's a uniting word. So it's like you're unified only one son, if that makes sense. Aheb means to love. There's 209 examples in the Law and Prophets. It's like someone with hands up saying, behold, and they're looking to a house. So they're like providing for a family is essentially the idea here. So it's like your loved ones. So Elohim said, take your only son you love, Isaac, and go to Moriah and offer him as a burnt offering on a mountain, I will tell you. So Elohim tested Abraham, saying, go kill Isaac. What? Wait. seems a little out of the blue, but then if you think about how succinctly it's written, I guess the audience of the time would go, yeah, that's about right. Right? I mean, like, I don't know. Just Jim, if that is your name. Oh, you can't go to Leona Wilbert's Zoom because of life. Meow. Yeah. When is it? Is it right now? I can't go because of life either, if that's the case. I would want to go. All right. Verse. Wait, did we do verse 3? Verse 3. There's one new word here, chabash. That's to bind on, or to bind up. There's 33 examples in the Law and Prophets. Mostly means to be saddled or to saddle. It can mean to bandage. Merriam-Webster's dictionary, I looked up kibosh because it sounded like kibosh, and it says it's not. That this is. It says specifically kibosh is not the root. I mean, it doesn't say specifically that. It just doesn't mention this, so it just kind of sounds similar. So Abraham got up early in the morning, saddled his donkey, took 2 servants with him and Isaac, and split wood for the sacrifice, and went where God said. So let's look at verse 4. You rascally verse. On day 3, does that sound familiar? On the 3rd day? On the 3rd day. On day 3, on the 3rd day. Did I say that sounded familiar? On the 3rd day. There's one new word here, rachok. That's distant or far, or a distance. 85 examples in the Old Testament. On day 3, on the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place from afar. So I guess they were like walking or riding their donkey and they're looking down a lot. I guess you do. If you ever walked long distances, I've noticed you don't really stare completely. You kind of start hanging a little bit. Go to verse 5. Had a lot of donuts, by the way, if I seem a little sugar high. There's no new words that we have to learn here. We've seen them all in the prior weeks. Abraham told the 2 servants, you stay here with the donkey, and the boy and I will go over there and worship, and we'll come back to you. So he's telling the servants that they'll both be back and that they're doing homage or worship. Was he lying so they don't try to stop him? Or was he just demonstrating belief that, well, I know I'm supposed to go sacrifice Isaac, but God said he's going to sire a bunch of nations, so let's see what kind of mumbo jumbo is going to happen. Probably both, right? No, this is a crazy story. Let's not, just because I'm breezing through this, let's not bypass. This is a weird story. At least to modern year 2023, if that is the year. Merkins. So there's one new word here. Ma'akeleth. That's a knife. There's only 4 examples in the Old Testament, and 2 of the uses are in this section. So Judges chapter 19, it's used to cut someone up. And in Proverbs 30, it's like teeth, and they're like little ma'akeleths. If you read studylight.org, which I like to do sometimes, it says it's like a food knife, like a utensil. So Abraham plopped the wood stack for the sacrifice on Isaac, grabbed the fire and a food knife, and they left. So who else can you think of that carried their own wooden implements laid upon them of their own demise? If you're going to be used up by your authorities in society for their perceived benefit, you will labor to bring your own demise with you on the way. It sounds like my day job. I'm not trying to claim. I mean, you know what I mean? But like, they're sucking the life out of you and you're the one doing it. So, I don't know. So here's Isaac kind of being a type of Jesus, carrying his own wooden implements of doom, of personal doom. All right. Verse 7. There's one new word here, seh. That's one of a flock of a sheep or goats. There's 42 examples in the Old Testament. It's pretty much a sheep. So Isaac spoke to Abraham, who said, "Here I am, son." And Isaac said, "Check out the fire and the wood, but where's the sheep for the offering?" So in our story so far, warlord Abraham negotiated into Philistine by pen and paper. Elohim sent Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, who on the way asked, "Where's the animal?" Where's the animal? So we know he hasn't agreed to do this yet. Because he's like starting to figure it out, though. Yo, Pops. You forgot something. So verse 28, or verse 8, there's no new words that we need to look at. We've seen them all in prior weeks. I need a little fluids. Abraham said, "Elohim will provide the sacrificial flock member, son." Notice he answers really carefully. Like, he doesn't say he'll provide the lamb. He said he'll provide the hase. That's one of a flock. It doesn't necessarily say which. It's almost always lamb or sheep, but I think there's some technicalities here. He's saying, God will provide the flock member. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. AKA you, my son. No, well, we'll see. So they continued on. So Abraham basically said, Elohim will provide. Now we know in a minute, if you've never heard the story, we're going to see soon. Spoiler alert. He's willing to go all the way with the killing. So he's not sitting here necessarily thinking Elohim will provide a substitute. He may be thinking that. But we know in a minute, he's like, all right, plunge dagger. I suspect he may be speaking in technicalities to Isaac, but I don't know that I can prove it. All right, verse 9. All right, we're making some pretty good time. I'll keep chugging along. We need the word agad to be looked at here. Agad. That's to bind. There's only one example in the entire Old Testament. And I can't really find any real backup of this. I looked at Study Light. I dug around. I Googled. Did he bind him? Like it says. That's how everyone translates it. Here, let's look at all the translations real quick. I actually don't remember looking too deeply. Bound his son. Tied his son. Bound. I think it could mean clubbed over the head or knocked out with drugs, honestly. It's totally... You can't find what this word means. So how do we know he didn't light some cool, maybe some ganja or something. Got everyone kind of in the mood. Maybe put some opium on there. Tied, bound. Everyone says it means bound. I couldn't find any indication how they know that. Usually you can find some kind of... I couldn't find it. So I think he could have just... it could mean it could literally mean anything. I mean, I hate to say that. So my summary would be... did he kind of have to sneak up behind Isaac and go... Ponk and tie him up, or was Isaac like, all right, and presented his wrists? Now, I did notice that Hippolytus of Rome believes Isaac was willing. Wikipedia tells me that Islam says he wasn't even bound. He stepped up. So this word could mean helped him up onto the altar instead of clubbed him over the head and bound him. So my summary of this sentence would be, they arrived, Abraham built an altar, arranged the wood, and bleep Isaac, because we don't know what he did, and set him on the wood on the altar. I mean, ultimately it doesn't matter. All right, verse 10. Man, y'all are quiet, but it's probably because this is such a weird story, and you're like, yee. This story creeps me out, honestly. You know, like, do you ever stop and really think about this? It's good. It's healthy. It's healthy to think about it. All right. Verse 14. Reminder, here in about 10, 15 minutes, we'll have the panel on Black Yoda and special guests, if there are special guests, which I suspect we may get tonight, some special guests. Where was I? Shakat means to slaughter or beat. There's 81 examples in the Old Testament. So this is just a full-on, like, ear-to-ear, special knife, you know, that special kind of lamb slaughtering knife where you get real close, reach over, and you're underneath, and you go, is what I've heard. And then you split them, you know, vertically on the belly and lift out all the innards, start the smoke, get it burning, do all that stuff. So he sent his hand out and yoinked the knife to ear his son like the Joker would. So this is one of those phrases, and you see it in the Bible every now and then in Genesis. He sends out his hand. I always get this like, you've seen me do this before, like when they reach out for the apple, the forbidden fruit. It's not the only time they do it, but it's like this intentionality. It's almost like I get in a trance just thinking about it. And this isn't just, well, I got to plunge a dagger in his chest and walk away. He's got to do the full-on butchering. You know, he says, in order to slaughter him. So this is going to be a full-on butchering. All right, let's go to the next verse. Which makes sense, right? If it's a sacrifice, it's got to be a full deal. Ahiah's messenger from heaven called Abraham, Abraham. And he's like, yo. So Elohim sent Abraham to sacrifice Isaac and interrupted at the last second. Why did he have to say it twice? I would think if you're about to kill Isaac and you're like, well, God's going to do something cool, and then you hear his messenger go, Abraham, you'd be like, oh, cool. That's what I was waiting for. But instead, he's like, Abraham, Abraham. And he's like, oh, what? You know, it's like, like he must have been drugged out. Not must have been. Might have been drugged out in a trance. Did Abraham was he getting kind of into it? Just kidding. Not really. Maybe it went like this. Abraham, and he paused, and he's like, "Ooh, is that my out?" And he was like, "Oh, wait, did I imagine that?" And the second one was kind of to confirm. Now, a lot of times we're told he's in the midst of a downstroke, but I don't think it's that clear in the text here. If you look at it, he says, you know, he just called to him. So he stretched out his hand, took the knife in order to butcher his son, you know, with the intent of doing that. But we don't know. It might have been right as soon as he picked up the knife. He's like, Abraham. You know, they always depict it as he's on the downstroke, you know. Now, the author of Hebrews does elaborate that it was a test of faith. But I don't think we know exactly how close to the, you know, final seconds we got. Doesn't really matter, but just wanted to comment. Verse 12. Again, mostly just word structures, making sure we've got them all. Me'umah, that means anything. 32 examples in the Old Testament. It can mean both nothing or anything. So it's kind of like a whatever. And yare, that's afraid or fearful. There's 55 examples in the Old Testament, and we already established a similar root word, yare, which is to affright. So with those two new words, we know from this, Elohim said, don't lay a hand on the boy or do anything to him, because I now know that you fear Elohim, since you did not keep your only son from me. So he already trusted Elohim through Kedorlaomer's invasion and through all the travels to Egypt and Gerar. But I guess, now he really showed that he trusts Elohim. I could see that. This is a bigger test. Now, this is the age-old question. Did God need to know, or did he already know? Now, theologically, if you read the entire Bible, especially, get all the way into Pauline Christianity, you have to say that God already knew the answer. He doesn't get surprised. But at a casual read here, let's say you're a 5-year-old kid hearing the story. It's that word now. Now I know. Now, technically, that doesn't mean God didn't also know before. The audience now knows that God knows. They knew he knew they knew. He's like, now I know. I also knew before. I mean, technically. So this doesn't disprove omniscience, but I do get that it kind of feels that way. So didn't want to not bring that up. We can debate that later if we want. Verse 13 has 3 new words to look at. Achaz, that's to grasp or take a hold or take possession or seize. There's 68 examples in the Old Testament. Sebak, that's a thicket. There's only 4 examples. In Psalm, it's a type of tree. Isaiah plants it in a forest of some sort, and so we just know it's vegetation. I think that's sufficient for now, right? And Geren, that's horns. 76 examples in the Old Testament always means horns. So Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and beheld a ram behind him was caught in plants by its horns. So Abraham seized the ram and offered it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So here's a substitutional sacrifice, not a trivial point. We have shades. Let's see. Shades is this one.
$100,000 to get a beat from Shade.
Rev is stuck on the binding. He used bind. Yeah, 2280. Here, let's check and see. 2280. Right, chabash. Yeah. Saddle. Look how it's used as saddle a lot. Kind of stick onto the beast of burden. It can also mean like a bandage. I was pretty comfortable with that word, Rev. Anyway, those shades were from the Texan. Thank you, the Texan. All right. So this was a substitutional sacrifice. Very much not a trivial point, right? Now, I'm sitting here like Hagar didn't see the water well. The mob didn't see the door to Lot's house. Abraham and Isaac didn't see the ram stuck behind the trees, like right there. Was it just quietly stuck, like looking at him going, oh, that's probably what it was. He's like, that dude's going to kill his son. I'm stuck here. Don't let them see me. Don't let them see me. Oh, they saw me. I'm gone for. Maybe that's what. I don't think rams are that smart, right? I would think it must have been half passed out, like gave up struggling or something. Because how did they not see it? Again, were they on some serious drugs? Like, hey, I got to kill you and you got to get killed. So let's take this ganja or something and get knocked out so we can barely know what we're doing. I don't know, but they somehow didn't see it until all of a sudden, after Abraham hears, don't do it, they're like, oh, look, there's the ram. Look, it's a God provision. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just trying to observe the story. You know what I'm saying? Trust but verify. That's right, Rev. That's what we do here. Yeah, we don't take these translators for granted. I like to look at it used in context to other places to see, that it makes sense what they're telling us. Because if you own the translation, you could maybe, King James it a little bit. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to attack King James. I'm glad he did what he did. I think he gave us a great work. They copyright some of these things too, How crazy is that? All right, so verse 14. We're making really good time. Give us another 5-10 minutes. We'll get the panel going. So Abraham named the place that Ahiah provides. As they say to this day, in the mountain of Ahiah, it is provided. So there's kind of a sense of it's nearer to heaven, right? So if you walk heavenly, it shall be provided. So Elohim sent Abraham to sacrifice Isaac and interrupted at the last second because Ahiah provides. So who does the work, and what is man's job? This is my question. Is this a treatise on humans wanting to perform human sacrifice? And do humans generally want to do that? Remember King Kong, the old movie? Like, it seems weird that a society would go, all right, let's do a bunch of human sacrifices. I think you'd want to keep your people healthy for like armies and stuff, right? And fight the enemies. But apparently, some societies just love to do human sacrifice. It's in history, right? So, anyway, I don't know. Let's go to verse 15. Ahiah's messenger called a second time out of heaven. Why? To tell him this. First, we need to see two new words. Neum. That's an utterance. There's 376 examples of this used in the Old Testament, and it means like a declaration. I declare. Ya'an. That's on account of or because. There's 99 examples. It comes from the word ana, which we've seen before, which is respond or answer, and there's 329 examples of that. So there's a boatload of examples. So he said, Ahiah says, I swear, because you did this thing and did not withhold your only son. Now he has 2 sons, and more later, but he's got 2, but it's his only pure blood. You know, the other one's 3/4, or the other one's half Egyptian. There's a word in this verse that I don't fully... Let's see. Which word? So he says, by myself, B right here. There's not a concordance for this. So if we click on B, there's no reference. So I don't know how to research that. But they say it means by myself. So even if we remove that, we know from the scene before that he made the oath with himself, because Abraham in his dream saw the calves were split for the contract, but only God walked through it, like the floating furnace walked through it. So he swears by his own self. So this is an unconditional covenant. Doesn't require Abraham to do anything to keep it up, is what I think that means. Some of the promises are conditional, right? But not this one. So verse 17, we just got a couple more verses to go, and then we bring in the panel. It's got oyeb, enemy or foe. There's 282 examples of in the Old Testament. And chol, or sand. Believe it or not, I double checked. We had not seen this word before. There's 23 examples. So, blessing, I will bless you, and multiplying, I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the heaven and the sand on the shore of the sea, and your descendants will possess the gate of their enemies. So I guess he had to reiterate and reseal the deal. I think this is the same deal as with the oven. And it's unconditional. He didn't tell him in advance, if you do this, I'll do that. But maybe Abraham knew because of the prior promises. But it's gonna happen according to the way this sentence was said. Verse 18, one new word here, ekeb. That's a consequence, or as a consequence of, or because. There's 15 examples in the Old Testament. And it says here, all the nations of earth will be blessed in your seed because you obeyed my voice. So that clearly was a condition, but he told him after, it seems like, if the way I read it. So because Ahiah provides, when I say Ahiah, I mean Yahweh. That's just my favorite way to say it. Because Yahweh provides, and through Abraham will bless all nations. One more verse, then we get the panel going. I just breezed through the binding of Isaac. I'm hoping we'll discuss it a little bit tonight. Abraham went back to his servants, and they all went to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt there. All right. So let's catch up with the chat. We found Waldo Man. All right. So let me do some preparing here. I'm going to get a Jitsi link going. Black Yoda, the co-host, hops in so fast that once I share this link, I have got to be ready to jump in. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about to hit send, and then I'm going to jump to it. All right, here we go. I'm on the timer. I'm already nervous. All right. All right, I'm in there. Ah, Rev, you're sending a movie my way. Got you, bro. Gotcha, brother. I see it. I see it in the chat. We'll play that. Oh, that was a good... I caught some of that Curly Kaylee. All right, let me plot down the music. Welcome, Black Yoda in the house.
Howdy.
And we've also got Rev.
Yeah, let me turn my mic around.
Please do. Please do.
Hey, let me ask you a question, G. Ross.
Please. Welcome.
Where'd you say you live again?
Just north of Dallas.
Do y'all get those palmetto-like sewer roaches out there?
Yes, they're disgusting.
Do they fly?
Yeah, unfortunately, they can. It's pretty rare to see it, but they do.
Dude, all right, so this time of year, there's a lot of irrigation for the downtown homes.
Yeah.
And because of that, dude, I must have killed like 5 of them. And 2 of them flew right at me. You know what I mean? Creepy bastards. Now my nerves are like,
Yeah,
I'm on
no,
edge.
they'll get you. I remember the first time one flew at me, I was like 12 or 14, and I didn't know they could do that. And it flew off the wall right at me, and I'm like, what the?
Hey, I see
Freaked
Jim
me out.
is in the house.
Just Jim and Rev? Yeah.
Howdy.
Hey.
You have them in Texas?
Yeah, we do. Just Jim, it's really nice to see you coming in from the 5th dimension, kind of floating in and out. Hope you're safe out there.
How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Hey, it's been a while, bro.
Well, it was like last week, I think.
That's eons in this news cycle.
Yeah, the camera thing is like 5th dimension over here.
You're otherworldly.
No, I was asking him if they get those palmetto roach-like things too. And he says they get them out there pretty good.
We do. North of Dallas, I haven't seen them as much as over east when I used to live in Longview, about 2 hours drive east of here. There was a ton there.
I don't know where exactly they come from, but I know a lot of people on the street over here get the irrigation, and you have those. They're all connected. There's like a tunnel system. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it has something to do with that. But this time of the year, you start seeing them more, and we love hanging out on the front patio, but they make it to where you don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's gruesome.
The one flew right by Bernie's head. The one was on the garage door, and I'm squirting him, and he flew right at me, dude. Landed on my hand, creeped me the hell out. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, you were squirting what?
I knew Just Jim would get that.
Nah, it was a spray that I was using to try to kill him.
What? I got the hummingbirds. They just came back last weekend.
Oh, nice.
That sounds less gross.
I bought 10 pounds of sugar. Those guys, I get like 40 of them.
Oh wow.
I mix my hummingbird food up good. I'm not kidding at all. I'll get like 40 of them. I've probably shown pictures in the background before of that.
Now that
Yeah,
sounds like a lot better than having to deal with this stuff.
dude, I whistle to them and stuff, and they will sit down on the perches instead of like flapping the whole time, trying to fight
Huh.
each other and stuff. I just like I whistle at them, and they calm down, and they sit on there. It's pretty funny. I play them Christian rock music from like the 90s, the late 90s. I'm not joking.
That actually sounds really tranquil.
They love Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant. Just the Newsboys. Anyways,
What state are you in? I forgot.
Colorado.
Mm,
Oh,
I'm way up in the mountains.
nice.
Most people that come up here, they can't breathe. It's
Gotta
pretty
get used
high
to
up.
it. Yeah, you got to
It's
get used
thin
to
air.
that.
I vanish into thin air. That's pretty funny.
Now that sounds
I've been making
really nice.
I've been making memes on the foxhole, and all these girls, they make the stickers and stuff. Once I figure out you make a sticker, I'm DMing you with an idea. You know, like Daisy Chains and Ash USA and USA Land Shark. I have so many people make my stickers. It's so awesome.
That's a lot of good people on the foxhole.
Yeah. Then I could share them in the chat. Good. It's pretty cool.
I don't like how social media has kind of put us in a corner, but I do like how much more personal foxhole is it like versus YouTube. You know?
Oh yeah, me too. You try to get in a YouTube chat, you type something, and you can't even see what you type before it's all gone. It goes,
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
yeah. Foxhole is not like that.
Some of those
Lusters.
people,
Go ahead. Sorry.
some of those people that are on YouTube, they're really good at keeping up with like the conversation. And I'm like, I don't know how they do it sometimes. I know they can slow it down on their end, but yeah, I've seen some. They're really good at calling people out.
Well, the snow up here is melted. Finally, I got back to work on my Mustang. You guys,
Ooh, what kind is
the
it?
84
Oh, nice.
Fox body. It's a 5-liter T-tops 5-speed GT.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna put a water pump on it, and I couldn't find the last bolt. I'm like, what the hell? And so it's been sitting there for all over the winter and stuff.
Usually there's an extra
The
bolt.
whole garage. What's that?
Usually there's an extra bolt left over when you're done.
No, I'm a professional mechanic, G. Ross.
Oh, but don't you know? You take apart a
No, I
motor
don't
and you
have
put
extra bolts. I knew something was wrong. Well, here's what happened. The bolt has been busted off, and the water pump didn't leak out of there. But I am not putting my new water pump on there without putting a new bolt. So last weekend, me and my daughter, I got some stuff from Ace, like a little collar.
Mhm.
I put it around the drill bit so that it'd be centered, and I drilled through the bolt that's busted off in the block. And it's in there like 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
Like, for me to get a tap, it's going to be fun. So now anyways, I tried to easy out the bolt. I did this shit for 15 years professionally, like in an industrial manner. I know how to get bolts out of holes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I drilled into that thing. I drilled all the way through the piece that's busted off. put an easy out in there, and me and my daughter, like, I was trying to pull it out, and I was like, the last time I was like, just hammer it in there. I showed her how to do it, and I was getting weak because my back's all messed up and stuff, and that thing's not very tall. So,
Right.
anyways, it's a 84 Mustang 5-liter, like cop car kind of 5.0, that style.
Nice.
And I tried to get this bolt out and I couldn't get it out. So now I'm gonna have to get another drill bit and a tap, and I'm gonna try to make it 1/4 20. And if that don't work, I'm gonna buy another tap.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5/16. Anyways, that's what I've been up to trying to do. I've been gramping all weekend, every weekend for the last couple months, just trying to help my daughter.
That's awesome.
What have you guys been up to?
All right. Hey. Okay. So you mentioned on the binding if he was drugged, and that video that I sent you is on cannabis in the Old Testament.
Yeah. It started to occur to me, maybe even today. I'm like, man, did they drug up for this?
They were using it probably with everything else.
Yeah.
As far as the incense for the entranceway to the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'll share
I would
that.
imagine.
Yeah.
Well, because it's a high priest thing, and we'll just go there.
Sure.
There's a reason they called him high priest.
I'm going to put that link in the various chats. How long's that video?
2 hours. It's
okay, we'll maybe not watch it right now. Maybe.
Rev, did you say there's a reason why they're called the high priest?
Yes.
What do you mean by
they
that?
were partaking.
They were consuming, enjoying. Now, granted, it's all in the name of the Lord, because He gave it to us.
I was just clarifying.
Well, think about it. There's a reason for everything. If anything, just to relax them to where they're not worried about outside influence, things like that. Get that peace of mind, their attention, without outside interference.
That makes a lot of sense. If you think about stuff like ayahuasca.
Yeah, how high were these priests?
What do you think the morning manna was?
It was some kind of nourishment, I think. No?
Well, I've heard everything from it was mushrooms, magic type, which is why they all wear colors of that mushroom. We'll just red and white. We'll just say it like that.
No.
It's just it's observations over time that I've made that seem to point in that general direction.
Well, I was starting to get that vibe, as I was thinking about it. That they might have been.
There's a reason for everything. We'll just say that.
Sure.
Hey, G. Ross. How old do you think Isaac was when him and Abraham went to that mountain?
He was probably at least like 8 to 12 and might have been even up to like 18. It's hard to pin it down.
Wow.
We need a duppy.
I was thinking 5.
Do I need to back out? Make room?
No. We're on Jitsi.
Okay.
I think we can have like up to dozens. Yeah, he could have been 5.
Like he was like 5.
He could have been 5. I go with more like 12.
I have no basis, no sauce for that.
It's hard to pin down. I was trying to find that out, Black Yoda.
But the fact is, God told him he was going to have a son, and he did finally, after a bunch of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then he has a kid, and God tells him to go
Right.
sacrifice him.
Yep.
And he was going to do it. He was really going to do it.
Yeah, when he gets back, do you think Sarah found out?
I would have kept that a secret.
Right.
No, man, I was showing him how to make fire with 2 pieces of wood, and you just roll them together, and you blow the coals onto some leaves.
We went on a bonding mission. I bonded Isaac and almost killed him.
That's crazy. The thing that stuck out, one of the things that stuck out to me is it kept referring to him as your one and only son.
Uh-huh.
And you think about all that conflict in the Middle East on who gets God's promise, Isaac or Ishmael.
Well, yeah. I was telling my daughter about this. We had this whole talk last weekend. Because my daughter's like in some tough times. She was going to sell her Tahoe. And God blew her fence down. The dog ran away. She met some friends that want to move out and pay her a good amount to rent her place. Holy crap. I mean, God doesn't normally blow my fence down
Right.
to fix my problems, but he did for her just this last week. It was so cool.
Oh, Pete Aggie brings in Josephus says Isaac was 25.
25.
That's a good reference.
Yeah, Josephus was like a secular historian back then, right?
Yeah, like more like a pro-Judaism historian.
But he wasn't one of the priests like that, copied the Bible.
Yeah, he wasn't like a Philistine Pharisee or a Sadducee, I don't think. Maybe he was.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I want to point out, and I was thinking of this, and I'm glad the Texan brought it up. We're encouraged to be sober and vigilant, 1 Peter 5:8, for example. But I don't know that Abraham necessarily always. I don't want to disparage Abraham's character. I just got a vibe,
Well, you think Abraham hit the sauce?
I just wonder if there was some ceremonial vibey plants. But I shouldn't, it wouldn't be condoned. Like, in other words, God wouldn't encourage it because he doesn't want us to be drunk, for example.
Wait, wasn't Noah an alcoholic?
No, for sure,
well,
yeah. So was Lot.
Wasn't it Ham that got in trouble for laughing at him when he got all wasted?
Oh, you want to bring that up, Black Yoda?
Not really.
Yeah, you do. You want to discuss that crazy neighbor girl?
All right. Yesterday, my old man or mailman, him and I became friends, and sometimes he'll come over and hang out. And yesterday, Bernie and I were walking my dog, and he came around the corner, driving, and we hadn't seen each other in a while. So I told him, I was like, yeah, just go to my place. I'll catch up to you in a minute. And we're out here hanging out, having some beers, just talking. Somehow, Noah comes up.
Yeah.
And he makes the comment that Noah's sons sodomized him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's trying to explain it to me. And I'm like, no, I think if anything, they saw his junk, but something was weird about it, and it creeped him out. I don't remember anything about them sodomizing him. And so I find it in the Bible, and we're going over it. And the way it reads was okay. I could see how it could, be, interpreted that way. So I called G. Ross and I asked him, and he said possibly. I didn't expect for him to say possibly.
Right. You're like, don't say possibly. Don't do it.
Yeah, they if that's the case, they definitely don't teach that in Sunday school.
Well, so, it's kind of vague. It just says that he saw the nakedness, and that phrase can be a little bit loaded when it's used elsewhere. And so you're like, where did he stop? Here's passed out Noah. Did he mess with him? Hopefully not, right? But he got cursed.
Why would a son?
Yeah, he got in big trouble for that one.
Why would a son want to have sex with his father?
He should not ever. That's very bad and evil.
What I heard was that he laughed at him because he was like naked and drunk.
Yeah, that's what it says.
So he laughed at him, then he got cursed.
Yeah, I can read it. It's like 2 sentences.
That's the way I.
Do you remember the chapter, Yoda?
Let me go back.
It's probably like 7 or 8. 9, 8.
So it was like Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right?
Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and told his 2 brothers outside. That's it. He just saw his nakedness. So, yeah, we might be reading a little into it.
Yeah,
the way I read it, the way I heard it was like he laughed at him because he like was naked and stuff, and that was why. But who
it's
knows?
Genesis 9, 22 and 23.
Right. He saw his father's nakedness. And it stops there. I guess Rev's going to get a link. He usually ducks out, gets an awesome link, and comes back.
I mean,
but then when you read 24, it says, and Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his young son had done unto him.
Right. Sounds a little more active.
Doesn't it?
A little bit.
So, yeah, when he brought that up yesterday, and I was like, dude, what the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Like, we just read this, a couple months ago. Like, I don't remember. I tell people all the time, if you want to really be entertained, just go over the Bible.
Yeah.
That will trip you out.
It's a very active word, done here. It's from asa. And it can mean to like craft, make, bear fruit. It's a very active word, but it still doesn't say what he did.
I wonder what other translations say.
Here, let's check.
Does the Quran talk about Noah?
I think so. Done to him. Just kind of glancing through some of the translations. I mean, he could have just shamed him, right? Like by laughing at him. Maybe that's enough.
Yeah, but to get cursed for laughing.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Well, I hope not, because I laugh at a lot of stuff.
Right.
I know, right?
Where
That's
did
my
Rev
whole
go?
little thing.
Oh, Rev is falling asleep. Okay. Sorry.
I love laughing and I love making people laugh. Rev, what's going on around there? He
No,
already fell asleep, huh?
Yep.
I feel like you have to
Nah,
find a
Rev.
way to laugh at things, even if it's yourself. You got to have some humility.
I
And
find it easier to laugh at myself than anything else.
people that can't laugh at themselves, do you see how bitter they are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they won't let you laugh at them or, use them to make others laugh. They get all butthurt and stuff.
Right.
Dude, some of the funniest stories I know have me included right in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear that about the time that I went outside with a dude? I sucked his neck and everything. Well, he was wearing a frilly jean skirt and had makeup on and perfume and stuff like that.
Ooh,
Or
gee,
the one that ends with, so you want to go camping?
No, I'm
You
not
know
going
that
camping
one, though,
with
right?
anybody anymore.
Right.
No, G Ross, I ain't going camping with you or Black Yoda or
Because we know how
Rev
that
or
goes.
my
Wait, what
ex-wife. I'm not going camping with her.
Oh,
Pretty much anybody. I'm not going camping anymore.
the Texan brings up a really good point. What if Noah was not that well hung and he was mad that he
That's
got
why
caught
Ham
out?
was laughing.
Right.
Ham should have been thankful because that little nub did some hamster work and Ham got born.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Damn, man. Noah was putting it to. All right, I better stop.
Yes, you better stop.
Oh, man.
What if it was like that one, the one little guy, the Oriental guy on The Hangover? Remember?
Oh, yeah.
And the monkey's like playing around with it. Oh my goodness! All right, I never said that. This ain't recorded, is it, G. Ross?
Yes, definitely recorded. You know, you're on YouTube.
Louise, no!
You're on YouTube and Facebook, even.
I know, and I'm on the Foxhole too. I
Yep.
know. It's fine. It's fine. I was asking a question.
G Ross
Right.
asked me yesterday, too. He was like, hey, do you want to bring this up tomorrow on topic? And I was like, not really.
Sorry, but just Jim brought it up. Somehow he segued us over.
I have no idea how that happened. I'm so sorry.
No. You didn't bring. What did you do? You just said, no, you were fine. You just said something about Noah.
We were talking about Noah. Somebody said he had like a peewee, and then we just went from there, and it escalated. It's like a pyramid.
But I think, I appreciate Yoda, you being willing to bring it up. I think the answer's somewhere between here and there, right? And we don't ultimately have to know. We just know that Ham misbehaved terribly. Is that fair?
Did Noah have a teeny weeny peeny? That's what the question was. We couldn't get to the bottom of why did Ham get in trouble for laughing?
Oh, man. Nah, the Bible is something else, bro. But somebody said that Isaac might have been 25 when they
Yeah,
went to
Pythagoras said Josephus said that.
That seems kind of old to like.
Isaac, maybe he failed to launch. Maybe that was the problem with Isaac.
Right.
You know, failure to launch. God's like, you know what? That kid's fucking 25 now. And hey, either he
Come
gets
here,
off
we're
the
gonna
pot or we're gonna have to put him on the altar.
come here, Isaac. We're gonna take a walk.
Oh shit.
Hey, grab those sticks over there. We're gonna need them because I gotta build an altar. Stuff.
Did you guys catch my bit where I'm like, so you're the ram stuck in the thicket, and here comes some sacrifice, and you're like, be still, don't be seen, don't let them see you. It's just like a Gary Larson or something.
If I was Abraham, I'd be like, you know, there's a ram over there, but God told me you failed to launch, and man, I don't want to have to do this. You go out over there and get that ram out that thicket and start this fire and stuff. We'll tie him up. Use
We'll
your
call it even.
shoelace.
So it's the failed to launch
Oh my
theory.
gosh. There's so much of that story we don't know.
I know, right?
Right.
I mean, like how you put it kind of makes more sense than anything else, you know? Like he put the fear of God
Abraham
in
was
him.
probably having all the neighbor girls over. Hey, Isaac, and what about this one here? Huh? She's
She's Egyptian, Isaac.
heavy.
Fighting in the name of...
Isaac's like, no, I just want to go lay in my bed. He's like, oh, shit, God's going to tell me I'm going to have to go dig up the mountain here.
Belushi asks a really good question in the chat. He says, is fighting in the name of God wrong? Or killing in his name wrong? Where does one draw the line between war in Christ and the fight? I sometimes ask, and this might freak out some people, you know, we've been given the gift of this country, but was that Revolutionary War fully justified?
Belushi, you got to fight when it's time, and then you ask for forgiveness. This is the Bible night.
Well, there's parts in the Bible where God actually helped people win battles.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he made the sun stand still. Well, that's kind
True.
of funny because the Earth didn't stop spinning on that story. I don't know about all that. You know, I'm a bumpy earther, you guys. So let's not even go there.
You started it.
Well, no, I really am a bumpy earther. I live in the mountains, and I'll tell you what, this shit's bumpy.
Yeah.
I got to drive up and down them things to get anywhere I go.
Right.
So I agree with Bumpy, but I'm still.
You can't argue with Bumpy.
I believe in a flat plane, though. I don't think we're on the back of a turtle floating through space. I just think it's all one plane.
Yoda, did you just shift us into like fifth gear?
Yes.
What happened?
You know, but I
said it
see.
was bumpy, man. That's all I'm committing to.
I've seen
And
a
I
lot.
don't think it's a spinning ball, but anyhow,
I've seen a lot of people on Foxhole
you see
lately.
that rocket bounce off the firmament the other day and explode? That was pretty cool. Elon did a great job.
I've seen a lot of people on Foxhole lately start to ask questions about it, though.
Yay.
Why do they keep bouncing off the firmament and exploding? Challenger.
Because the firmament is pretty fierce.
Yeah. Even Walt Disney made a couple of little shorts about it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
In the 50s.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that the three of us are going to get a lot of controversy on Earth geocentricity going. I think we're close to similar perspectives.
Well, the North Star never moves, so that's weird.
Right.
It's almost like it's the pivot point for all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't live up there. I
don't remember if I ever had the conversation with you, G. Ross, but a few years back, about 4, maybe 5 years ago, I learned about the Mandela effect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, son of a bitch. There's another one. You creepy
kill it.
motherfucker.
Damn, Yoda, you've been working out, you're losing weight, and now you're scared of what, a bug? What's going on?
I'm from
over
Michigan, man. So, like, if you see a cockroach in
Oh,
Michigan,
man, these Michigan bugs, you don't know.
if you see a cockroach in
Dumpy.
Michigan, it's really small. It's really
Dumpy
small.
come out of lurking. Sorry. Dumpy came out of lurking. The flat earth brought him out.
I ain't never seen nobody jump like that, Yoda. What the hell, man?
What? Dude, it's
Ew, get it off.
son of a bitch.
So I gotta
Oh,
I'm
motherfucker. Oh, it's right there.
smash it. Smash him.
What is it, a mouse? Are you
No,
going
it's
Nancy Pelosi
dude,
on
it's a
us? Eyebrows
cockroach.
and shit?
It's a cockroach. So I gotta
I'm on the front patio. Oh, it's starting to rain. Here, let me move my Bible.
So I got gently nudged by Belushi. So I got to go ahead and dive deeper into that question, if you guys will let me, about the righteous wars.
I'm gonna have to go inside, people. Hold on, give me a second.
All right, I'll cover righteous wars while you're traveling. I kind of think this is just me talking. I kind of think that the fight on the side of right was clear in the Old Testament, but in the church age, until we get to the Revelation prophecies, which touch on the Isaiah and the Daniel prophecies and all that, until we get there, which we're probably close, it's church and nations. I don't think there's a favored nation.
It's starting to rain.
So I don't know. Hope that works.
What do you mean by that, G. Ross?
Well,
like
I tend to be a premillennial dispensationalist, so I do think there's could be easily a rapture and 7 years of tribulation and then 1,000-year reign and all that.
Yeah.
And there will be the return of a nation to bless all the nations, where he will rule for 1,000 years with an iron scepter, right? With a pierced rod. Sounds kind of suggestive. But until then, I don't know that there's a favorite nation like there was in the Old Testament. Does that make sense?
Well, I understand what you're saying. Yes. The men with the small hats.
Yeah.
I think they have infiltrated that whole thing, and it's not even that anymore. It's a pretty good idea there.
I do see how the Schofield Bible, the Darby stuff, and the kind of culture I was raised in with Tim LaHaye and the Left Behind series and all that, I do see how you can kind of put a Jesuit men with small hat kind of thing behind that. So I hold it pretty loose, but I do think it's a good literal interpretation of prophecy.
Gee, you were born mid-60s, right?
Yeah, late 68.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember the Left Behind series.
She's calling everyone out.
Give me a second, guys. I can't find my phone stand.
Do I need
just
to
put it on that
Belushi?
giant
What's going
palmetto
on
bug?
I know,
Belushi
right?
over here.
Oh, dude, the shit. Because I like hanging out on the front patio, but because of irrigation, they just come out of nowhere, and they're so big. Like, these things are big, people.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yoda, aren't you like 6'3", dude?
I'm 6'2".
Well, see?
It's creepy, though. Shit.
I know. Yeah, listen.
Dude, it was right by my leg.
Okay, you're dead.
It's more
if you're
scared of
coming at
you.
me, you're by my leg and you're not afraid of me, I'm stepping on your ass. Okay, if you're hanging over my bed and you're a spider, yeah, you're dead meat. If you're in my shower, I'm gonna rinse you down the drain. I have a blast because I have one of those little snorkel shower heads, and I could whoosh you with the hottest ass water too. Here in Colorado, we keep our hot water heater hot. Okay, I just turn the thing up and just you're down the drain. Now, if you're in the corner making a little thing, you're trying to catch flies in my room, I don't give a shit. but you climb over my bed and you hang above me. Yeah, no, bye. That's my thing with the spiders and the bugs.
All right,
I think it's fair.
Belushi, are those pretty light colored, the German ones? Because I was in an apartment when I was like 22 for a few months. They were about like
Yoda.
3/4.
Yeah.
They were like that big.
It might be a German roach. Belushi just dropped some knowledge.
I don't know
If it's
what
a
that
German roach.
Jurassic.
You might as well move.
I'm gonna take a picture, or I'm gonna search it.
No, it's
German
the
roach.
size of Jurassic Park, people,
Oh yeah, they're very invasive.
and they fly.
Yeah, these are smaller and worse.
It probably wouldn't
Oh,
bother
yeah.
me so much if it was small, but these things are huge and they fly. Shit, that shit ain't normal.
Yeah, but these ones, man, they are hard to get rid of.
Dude, I stepped on one. I lift up my foot. I'm wearing flip flops. I step on one. I lift up my foot, and he took off running.
He knew. He knew you were gonna get him.
No,
He was
I
more
didn't.
afraid of you.
No, look, I stepped on it.
Oh,
I lift
that's
up my
gross.
foot, and he took off running. That shit is not normal. The bugs out here, they're built different, people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can handle crickets. You know, I'll pick
No,
a
it's
cricket
one of
up.
them German beetles. You're fucked, dude.
Nah, this was a palmetto. Yoda's facing the palmettos.
The June bug, right?
No, it's the one that's like this big, and it's definitely it's a roach, but it's a palmetto bug. Like, you kind of see them in Florida too.
What? Well, get some string and make some fucking roller skates out of them or some shit.
Right.
Oh man! And
So I only have one more on the topic for today, and let me just squeeze it in before I forget. Did you guys think that it was a match where he puts the wood, he makes Isaac carry the wood? That reminded me of Jesus carrying the cross. Did you guys catch on to that?
Oh no!
See, I knew it.
No, I did not make that connection.
He's like, I think you're 25, man. You grab all this wood.
Make yourself useful, Isaac. Carry your own sacrificial implements.
Oh wow!
Man, you've
No.
been playing video games for 25 years. Eating all my food. You don't work.
Hey, Pete Thaggy.
Eating up all my goats, right?
Eating the goats. He's been like sliding under them, just drinking right off the teat. Can you imagine being the first person to ever drink goat milk? You know, you're sitting around the fire. There's a goat there. And she's like, meh, meh. And the little baby goat's like, Can you imagine being the first guy to try goat milk? Seriously.
Yeah. I've had goat cheese, but I've never had goat milk.
Put yourself in that scenario. That's crazy.
I'm not trying it. The goat will kick you right in the head.
After the first guy does it, the next guy's like, shit, I want to try it, you know? And now we got goat milk. That's an Owen Benjamin joke, if anyone's wondering.
It's a good one.
I love it.
P. Thaggy.
Do you
25.
imagine being the first guy to try what kind of food? You know, you guys are sitting around the fire. Bill gets to try the chickens. Bill, let's see if we can eat chickens. Bob, you go over there and get some pick them onions and carrots and stuff over there. And then you're like, Ron, you try the tiger. Everyone comes back the next day and Bill, how was the vegetables, the carrots and the onions and stuff? And he says, well, man, they were great. And Bob, He tried the chickens. He was like, man, these guys are great. They lay eggs. You just eat those. And then they were like, Ron, how was the tiger? Ron? Ron? Ron?
I was with my mechanic friend. I was at his place. We were hanging out, having beers, and he's trying to convince me to move to Alaska with him.
Was his name Ron?
Yeah.
Well, no, check it out. He was telling me that
Ron was supposed to try the tiger, and they couldn't find Ron.
yeah,
So nobody knows what tiger tastes
Black
like.
Yoda, I don't know.
he was telling me a story.
Well, yeah,
He was telling me a story about a lady friend of his. Her husband was out on a trail hiking, got ate by a bear.
Don't go
Dude,
to Alaska.
That's got to be one of the worst ways to go out because a bear isn't going to choke you out first. It's just
Gonna
going
eat your guts.
Oh man. I'm like, dude, if you're trying to convince me to go to Alaska, you're not doing a good job. You know what I mean?
Come for the adventure. Can we bring in P. Thaggy in? P. Thaggy walked in the door. I want to say
come for the
howdy.
adventure. Bring a 45 with lots of ammo.
Yup. What's up, P. Thaggy?
How are you now? How are you now? Yeah, what's up?
Hey, Thaggy, it's been a while.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah.
How you been?
Hey,
Busy.
Faggy, it's been a while.
Yeah, Jim.
How are you?
Yeah, good. We can try. I think. I don't know. I can try to go through some notes. I thought I had some good ones.
I bet you do. This is like the story. This is like
I know the suspense has been building. We've been jumping ahead all these other weeks. We've been wanting to get to this, and I thought, oh man, I'm too tired to call in. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to get interrupted. And I'm like, well, if I don't jump in now, we're going to move on. So I don't really have a choice. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you jumped in.
Okay, so can I go?
please.
First thing, you already covered it, but the whole idea of a child sacrifice. What I wanted to point out was that child sacrifice was commonplace in this time in this region. So there would have been really no surprise on Abraham's part if God had asked him to do this. It pretty much fits the mold of all the other Canaanite gods. It was even by Hebrew people, it was practiced until later when the law, somewhere in Leviticus or Deuteronomy, the law provided for lambs to be sacrificed instead of the firstborn. So they had to do something about this child sacrifice problem. But that happened way later. When we're at the beginning of the Hebrew people and Abraham, fathering a great nation, when God asked him, "Hey, I want you to make a sacrifice of your son," it would not have been a shock to him at all. And this is why it doesn't come up. His only fear, his biggest concern, is he doesn't want Sarah to know because she's so attached to Isaac. And even in the pseudo book of Jasher, they goes on and on for paragraphs about how she dotes on him and she puts the finest clothes on him and kisses him and walks him to the road. And then when they're leaving, she runs out and grabs him again and she won't let him go. And then she says, "This might be the last time I ever see you." And Abraham told her some kind of lie. He contrived this lie. He said, "Oh, tomorrow, he's like, Isaac's become a man, and I need to introduce him to our ways, and I need to bring him to see Shem and Eber, and we're going to teach him how to follow the ways of our teaching and of our Lord." And so he comes up with this elaborate lie, but he doesn't want to tell her what he's going to do because he knows it'll break her heart. So even so, But here's the point. He even keeps it secret from the servants. He doesn't want anyone to know, even the two
Right.
servants that he has to come with him. He's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go up there and make a sacrifice. And you guys wait here. He doesn't want anyone to know. Right?
Right.
And you're wondering, well, dude, this is a very common practice. But I think, again, it's because he doesn't want anyone running back to the tent to tell Sarah. He doesn't want Sarah to try to stop him. Probably because he would. If he heard her lamentations or her plea, he probably would give in and he would defy the Lord. And he didn't want that to happen.
Right.
Right. So whether he was 25 or not, I mean, that's just what Josephus says. I imagine him, as we all did, being much more boyish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Yoda,
So-
can your fan? I think it's pointing close to your phone. Is that possible?
Yeah, let me turn it off.
Awesome.
Is that better?
It is. Sounds way better.
Okay.
So my first question to the panel and to those listening, were you guys aware that child sacrifice was commonplace amongst Canaanite and Assyrian Babylonian cultures?
I mean, I'm aware of it. I just never understood why.
Because it's the highest sacrifice that can be made. But then, to your point, Yoda, you keep reminding us that Isaac's not the firstborn. Ishmael is.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have a little inconsistent little. You have a little thought bubble pops up. Like, well, wait, why didn't God ask him to sacrifice Ishmael? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't count. Maybe Ishmael doesn't count, which is another bias that all Protestants have.
So you think that's why those guys are so mad at each other?
No, I'm not saying that's why, but it does play into the feud and the stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ishmael has his descendants, Isaac has his,
Yeah.
and it's my understanding that that's what they're fighting about in the Middle East to this day.
That's what I always thought.
No, that's too simplistic. That's not a good explanation.
Duppy points out that Sarai was woke and dressed Isaac in girl clothes for the event.
I'll look forward to it.
I'm butchering Duppy's joke. He told it better.
Well, he's not that far off. That's how I read it at first. Where was it? I think it was in Pseudo Jasper. Yeah, it said that she brought out the finest garment. It said garment. It didn't say women's clothing. It said the finest garment that she got from Abimelech. One of the garments that Abimelech gave her, and she put it on Isaac. And then she put a jewel on top of his turban. Like, she just made this guy look like the, just the most elegant clothing you could have. Was it
So
womanish?
You think Sarah knew that he was gonna be taking him up there because he wouldn't get out of the basement playing video games?
I mean, I don't lean that heavily into the Book of Jasper because it's so made up. It's such folklore. But yeah, it did strike me, Jim, that wow, if she's so motherly and attached, and this really is the first time they've ever been apart, that's kind of extreme. Like,
right.
You've never been away from your mother, like ever, like on a single day, no adventures. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There might be some more stuff to this that we never even thought about.
Well,
what is that one complex? It's like is it called Oedipus complex?
Yeah.
Oedipus.
You're not suggesting that, are you?
Well, no, I mean,
now we are.
This is, but let me give you another example. Here's some color commentary from the Book of Jasher. So while they take this trip, and this trip is not done in one day. This is like a 3-4 day trip. They're going up a mountain. They see it from afar. They bring gear. They bring servants. But while they go up there, the Book of Jasher says that Ishmael said to Eliezer, "Now my father Abraham is going with Isaac to bring him up for a burnt offering to the Lord. And then he said, when he returneth, he will give unto me all that he possesses to inherit after him, for I am his firstborn. And then Eliezer says to Ishmael, and I'll paraphrase, he's like, nah, dude, no. Weren't you banished wasn't your mother banished and you sort of by association? He's like, he's going to give it to me. I'm his most loyal servant. I've been with him through all the shit, the 5 armies, everything. I am his most trusted servant. He's giving all this shit to me. And it's like, well, wait a minute, guys. If Abraham doesn't want anyone to know, he's keeping the secret. He doesn't tell Sarah, he doesn't tell Isaac. He doesn't tell his servants. Then how the hell do you, Ishmael and Eliezer, how do you guys know what they're doing? This book of Jasher is completely made up. It just feeds into all the folklore that people want to hear about.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, all right. So my question about the Oedipus thing. Keep in mind, even though Sarah's old, she's still supposed to be smoking hot.
Mm-hmm. But it's your mom's.
You guys are the ones that I didn't even realize
I know.
we had never been separated before.
Oh.
That's one way of looking at it. There's a lot of parts of the story that are left out. You know, we just get to see different moments. We don't see a spinning wheel. We just see like, you know, a couple of, like when you have to flip through a book and you have to make the animation. But what you're really looking at is a drawing. It's like a fixed still image, and then you animate it in your mind. You're like you fill in all the gaps.
Right.
It could just be that she was helicopter mom,
Well,
isn't it weird that we just got Martha Stewart at 81 years old on the cover of the swimsuit magazine?
Oh,
no,
I gotta see that.
Is that real?
Yeah, I think it was. I think they did that. Are they trying to reproduce the stories in the Bible right now? Are they trying to bring us up to speed? Yeah?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I don't think Martha Stewart's husband's name is Noah or Abraham or anything like that.
Does she even have kids?
We don't know. We just know she's Martha Stewart, and she's 81, and they put her on the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the cover, but
I'm busy looking at it.
Wait, do you remember the tranny chick that they put on the cover?
No, I don't read magazines.
A while back, they put a tranny chick on the cover, or she was in the he was in the magazine, whatever it was, and with all this Dylan Mulvaney stuff.
I won't even read Reader's Digest. My mom got me a prescription
to help your digestives.
Every
what is
month.
the context of? What is the context of Reader's Digest?
Yeah, my mom got me a prescription for it.
No, but what is the context of it? Like, what is it about?
Reader's Digest. They used to have some funny jokes and stuff. My mom's been getting them for 50 years, I guess.
Just Jim gets it for the articles.
No, it's Reader's Digest. I used to enjoy the Sears catalog for the articles. Gee, Ross, come on. The Sears catalog. You can look at go-karts and underwear.
That's right.
And I was 12, and I'm sorry.
So let me ask P. Thaggy if he has more notes.
Oh, I do.
I want to hear it.
Before I go to my next one, I want to just cite biblical archaeology. I found one book that mentioned high places. They excavate high places. Now, these are throughout Canaan, and they were first high places of worship for Canaanites, and then later they were kind of taken over by the Hebrews,
Mm-hmm.
What they call Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a series of pillars, a minimum of 3 and sometimes 10 different pillars, kind of like Stonehenge or something, but without the lintel, without the cross beam.
Okay.
And in the corners or underneath the pillars, they find infant bones every single time.
Mm.
And there was no reason to think that it stopped in the days of Abraham or Melchizedek. So you got to kind of see this infant sacrifice thing was real, and that's why there's no actual scandal. The Bible doesn't mention anyone being horrified or scandalized.
Right.
The notion was not. It's almost like saying that it was not an unfair request.
Right.
So I want to transition to Isaac's acceptance. So,
Right.
right. So, because you had said earlier when we were so giddy and trying to, foreshadow this section, Giros, you were saying that Isaac accepted this fate. He didn't run away or like grab the knife out of his dad's hand and like, no, you're going out before I do or whatever.
Right.
There was no struggle, right? This guy was
Right.
like, okay, I'm going to obey. And you had said that his acceptance is some kind of parallel to Christ's acceptance. Didn't you? Didn't you mention that?
I wish I was that erudite. I hope I did.
I think you did.
He was saying that it was similar to Christ because he was preparing his own altar with the wood.
Well, earlier today I read a note that Wikipedia says, and right, yeah, what Black Yoda said. I thought you meant prior weeks. Yeah, today I speculated that he may be a type of Christ.
No, I distinctly remember you said, because I didn't come across it in my notes. You put the idea in my head that there was some kind of foreshadowing of the Christ accepting at the Garden of Gethsemane or whatever. He's just accepting his fate. Which leads me to a broader point is, well, that means if Josephus goes into way more detail about this than the Bible. The Bible doesn't say anything about what Isaac's take on it was. Not too much. But Josephus goes into a little bit more detail where he's like, yes, okay, I will obey. And, well, what does that mean? It means that Isaac's faith is being tested as well.
Right.
Right?
Agreed.
So for Isaac to have the same blessing as Abraham and to be the father of a great nation and to be in this line of succession, he has to keep God's ways and he has to be equally as pious, if not more so, than Abraham. And so he accepts. And when God pardons or says, "Oh no, that was a test, and you passed," he's also telling Isaac, "You too have passed. You had no scruple with the plan. You were obedient."
P. Faggy, that's profound, man.
That really is pretty deep, yeah.
Well, no, these are just notes. This is not I didn't discover that. I'm just going through the notes. I'm just reading different sources and pulling it together for entertainment purposes. And on that note, my other entertaining question is, so if the angel comes in and stops them, and it's such a loud voice, because Josephus says it's a loud voice, I'm wondering, like, did Isaac actually hear these things, or was it all going on inside of Abraham's head? Could he also hear the angel?
Right. Like, how many of these people are schizophrenic?
Not only, is that a good question? Did the two servants, if it's that loud, weren't they close enough? They would have heard it too.
It's probably all for the best if they heard it, because when they start piecing this together, they're going to think Abraham's a chicken, unless they heard the angel.
Well, they don't know that he's actually going up there for the sacrifice.
Here's the thing that I want to flip this around. Could Sarah have been mad when she finds out that Abraham chickened out and doesn't believe him? Oh, right. An angel told you not to do your religious practice.
Well, she didn't know either.
Maybe she did. Well, according to Josephus or whatever, but maybe she did. That's my opposite theory. Just a little side theory.
I don't know if she ever knew.
Well, so you're going to find out next week that she died alone without Abraham. They were 26 miles apart, and he had to go bury her, make a special trip to go grieve her and bury her. They basically were estranged at the end of their marriage.
She quit putting out.
Oh
Just
my
joking.
God, you need Jesus.
I love it. But Pete Aggie, I'm pretty convinced by what you're saying that Sarah would prefer to not have Isaac sacrificed. But I did have to kind of wonder, like, could it be the other way around, where she was more bold about following the tradition and Abraham chickened out? Does that make sense?
It does not. I mean,
Okay,
I can
fair.
see that you're forming a hypothetical, but
Yeah.
why would she be in favor of the sacrifice?
Just for the reasons that you were saying, like it's culturally normal, and she might think, hey, blessings on the family.
Plus,
Oh, I
Isaac was
see.
25. He wouldn't get out of the basement. He was playing video games.
Okay, I finally got your point.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of meta. Like you're saying that she knew that Abraham was withholding something very big from her, and
Yeah.
because it was too difficult to say, and they've known each other for a long time.
Yep.
And they're family, friends and family,
Right.
and so she goes along like, yeah, you're gonna bring him to see Shem and Eber, okay, but she
Right.
doesn't believe it. She knows the dreadful thing he's about to do because all parents do it in Canaan.
Right.
And that's what you're saying, is that she's pretending to go along with it to spare him the pain of having to hurt her. And so it's kind of like this whole meta melodrama.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Plus, if they've never been apart, she's got to be suspicious of what are you doing, Abraham? You
Right.
know?
What's that
I
knife
mean, he already hopped the fence and went and got what's her face, Ishmael's mom, Hera.
Right. Right. She did that. Did you guys know that sacrificial knife may date all the way back to Adam?
Did not.
I picked that up somewhere, and I tried to find it again for tonight, and I couldn't find it. But I remember seeing that somewhere.
Well, what would it have been made out of if it dated that far back?
A bone.
Yeah, probably a bone.
Yeah.
A Tyrannosaurus Rex bone.
How do you think Cain did Abel? Was it a rock?
It says it was a rock, right? In the text.
Yeah.
Rocks are pretty effective.
Well, yeah.
So before
Abel.
Before Duppy's interesting theory, Pythagi, any more notes?
No, that was the main thread.
Right on. Those
Hi,
were good
Duppy.
stuffs. Greetings, Dupster.
Hi, guys.
What's up, Duppy?
So I was delighted to find out when I got off of my nightly phone call that you guys were still on Abraham, because I found even more stuff on where he may have come from. Are you guys interested?
Oh, yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
All right. So G. Ross has heard part of this, and I think P. Thaggy will love this, especially with what I found today. All right. So I think I've mentioned a little bit of this on previous shows, that the work that I've done, and I'm not the only one that thinks this, Abraham may have come from a city in northern Mesopotamia, in the foothills of the Caucasus Mountains, kind of near the Euphrates, called Urkesh. And that became relabeled as Ur of the Chaldees 1,000 years later or whatever, when they wrote it down. But the Chaldean civilization didn't exist until 1,000 years after Abraham anyway. So a lot of people know that that's kind of a misnomer. but
Right.
they assume that that must be Ur down in Samaria. But there's a lot of info out there that suggests that he came from northern Mesopotamia, a city called Urkesh, that is about 100 miles east of Haran. So there's a much simpler path to get him through Haran to Canaan. If rather than having to go all the way up north along the Fertile Crescent and then over to get to Haran, over to the west to get to Haran, and then down to Canaan, it's almost a straight shot from Urkesh to Haran to Canaan. It's almost like a straight line, or certainly a straighter line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not as long of a journey. So the last known king or governor of Urkesh, according to archaeology, is a guy named Teru, Tierru, which obviously sounds a lot like Terra.
Right.
And his reign in Urkesh is right about at the conventional time that Abraham is believed to have lived, like 1750 BC, somewhere in that range. Yeah. Oh, good map, G. Ross. That's better than we've had before.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
That's like a modern map. I'm surprised it has these ancient cities on it, because they're not really cities anymore.
I
They're
know,
just
it's getting,
ruins.
Yeah. The robots are getting wiser.
So you can see how this path from Urkesh to Haran and then down to Canaan is pretty simple geometry.
Yep.
So if his father was this guy Teru, that would mean that Abraham was born a prince of Urkesh. And there's actually a passage in the Bible somewhere. I don't have the ability to rattle off where that would be, but it basically says somewhere that the line of Israel came from Semites and Hittites. And you'd be thinking, Hittites? What's up with that?
Right.
Well, it turns out Urkesh, at that distant point in time of 1800-ish BC, was a Hurrian kingdom. And the Hurrians were a group of people that came down from the Caucasus, and guess what they were? They were Aryans.
Mm-hmm.
So the hypothesis is that if Teru was his father, Teru would have been a Semite probably, because he was a vassal king to the king of the Mari Empire, which was a little bit further south along the Euphrates at that time. And they were a group of Amorites who are Semites.
Mm-hmm.
If he married a local woman in Urkesh, remember, he was installed like as a governor there. And there are actual, and I'm talking Teru here.
Yeah.
There are actual archaeological letters that were found in Mari that are from the king of Mari, Zimri Lim, to his vassal king that he installed in Urkesh, Teru. And Teru is saying that the people here don't like me because I represent the overlord king, being Zimri Lim. But remember from the Bible, Abraham had a few doings with Nimrod, did he not?
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think so. I don't think he did.
Wasn't there a test with a furnace and stuff like that?
Oh, but that's pseudo Nimrod. They're just borrowing the name. Well, we don't know if that's the same Nimrod from the flood times.
Okay.
That's a huge gap in time.
Yeah. But so just call that guy Nimrod.
Right.
Teru was like Nimrod's right hand man in that story, like what or Terra was.
Mhm.
In the archaeological record, this Teru guy was a vassal king of Zimri Lim. So I wonder if Zimri Lim might be one of the various empire overlords that is part of that Nimrod archetype.
Right. You know what's interesting about this is, well, there's a billion things interesting about this, but that sort of origin is where I picture Chedorlaomer's crew came down from.
Who's Chedorlaomer?
The five kings that attacked the four kings that attacked the five kings a few chapters ago.
You know who one of those kings listed in there is?
Hmm.
Hammurabi.
Oh.
I just saw this yesterday, an article where a guy said, yeah, if you look at the name that's in the Bible, and I think it's the first one mentioned in that passage.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is, but remember they didn't have vowels back then, right?
Right.
So if you just take the consonants from that first name in the passage in the Bible, they're the same consonants that are in Hammurabi. So that actually gives a solid time for Abraham to have existed. Right? Because we know when Hammurabi was king, it was, 1800, maybe just a little this side of 1800 BC.
All right. So Amraphel, Arioch, Chedorlaomer. Let's see. Birsha, Gomorrah, Shinab. I'm trying to find Hammurabi here.
What was the first one?
Came about in the days of Amraphel. The Arioch.
It's the first one. It's Amraphel.
Amraphel. Right. Yeah.
Just take the
L off.
Consonants. Now the B isn't in there, but the guy that wrote the article says that in those languages there's another consonant that often substitutes for it or something like that.
Cool. But I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure that some of that crew was kind of over where you're saying Urkesh, near Urkesh, I think.
Yeah. During the
Shinar. It's Amraphel is king of Shinar. So that's the northern part of Mesopotamia.
Right. Yeah, that's Hammurabi of Babylon.
Cool.
Nice.
They think. So God, there's so much more to this already. And I haven't really spent a whole lot of time looking at this, but all these things keep hitting me.
Belushi is saying you're spot on, by the way, in the chat. You probably saw that.
Really? We don't normally agree on a whole lot of things, except
I'm telling you, it's coming together.
Except Rasta music.
That's right.
Let's see.
Hey, Belushi, if you can hear me, thanks for chiming in last week, bro. I was
fantastic.
So tired. Oh, man, thank you.
Sideways Yoda. Best entrance of all time.
All right, so the part that I found today, and I've mentioned this to you before, G. Ross, that literally Göbekli Tepe is very, very close to this area. See where Sanlurfa is?
Yes.
It's very close to Haran.
Right.
Göbekli Tepe is like only 10 kilometers away from Sanlurfa. So when I talked to you about this before, I was like, well, that's just kind of an interesting coincidence. And also you've got the mountains of Ararat very close to there as well.
Right.
But what I came across today was, I don't know if you guys remember this, but remember the show where I dared to venture into Ralph Ellis's Jesus hypothesis and the chat went nuts?
Mm-hmm.
I showed that mosaic that was unearthed in Israel like less than 10 years ago. I should Maybe I should pull that up.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Okay. All right. Don't jump on me because it might be Jesus. Just showing you.
But wait, I missed it. What show was it on when you presented it?
It was one of my shows on Sloan.
Oh, okay.
Hey, it's Sloan in the chat.
Sloan is probably working and lurking usually.
Mm.
This really blew my mind today.
Let me write that down. I would like to see that mosaic.
I'm going to show. It's called the Huqoq Mosaic. Huqoq. You can look it up.
Oh, do you want me to find it?
Make
Or you got it?
How did you spell that?
Huqoq. I've almost got it, G. Ross. I just need to find the right article that I was looking at today.
Okay. Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me share my screen.
They're almost South Park character looking.
Yeah, but they did that with little teeny tiny tiles, man. That had to be a lot of work.
Yep.
Okay, I should be sharing now.
All right, let's see it. Yeah, we got it.
Can you blow it up? Let me see if I can do mine sideways. All right, that's better.
Okay, so according to Ralph Ellis, this is a scene from the Talmud. And this very well might be the event that kicked off the Jewish revolt. And
Are those Roman soldiers in the back?
No, they are Edessan soldiers. Edessa was a Roman client state. Remember on the map when I pointed out Sanlurfa?
Mm-hmm.
Sanlurfa is modern day Edessa. So again, that same area. But so according to Ellis, at this time, he thinks that the king of Edessa was the real Jesus. He was a real king. And so this mosaic was unearthed about 8 years ago after Ellis had written his book about this guy. And he said, this is a telling of that same story that's in the Talmud. And see this bull right here?
Mm-hmm.
The idea was that Nero was going to offer a bull or cow to the priests in Jerusalem to sacrifice as a goodwill gesture. Jesus wasn't happy. Jesus, king of Edessa, was not happy. He wanted to stir up trouble with Rome. So he defaced the bull. So it wasn't a perfect offering anymore. You know how the animal has to be perfect or something like that. You can see that's what the story in the Talmud says. Except in the Talmud, they say he's Jesus of something, and everybody says, oh, that's not the Jesus from the Bible. Well, Ellis thinks that it is. And you can see that there's a little cut on the lip of the bull right here. You can see my cursor?
Yep.
And so Ellis basically says this is the exact story from the Talmud. Jesus was a king of a Roman client state called Edessa up in the Sanlurfa area. He had his own army. He wanted to start a fight with the Romans. And so he took the bull and marred it And these guys over here on the left are the Jewish priests, and they basically rejected the bull and said, we can't accept it. It's not a perfect offering. And that may have kicked off the war. But that's just a story behind the mosaic. Oh, one more note. When they found this mosaic 8 years ago or whatever, the archaeologists took the National Geographic money and said that this was Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great did not have a side lock of hair like this. See
Right.
that?
That would be a Jewish thing.
And he didn't. And Alexander the Great never had a beard either. So another thing that strengthens Ellis's hypothesis. But what relates to Abraham and Göbekli Tepe is this H symbol on the priest's robes. Nobody knows what that H means, but there's an H symbol like that mysteriously on the Göbekli Tepe pillars. So this article, actually, I just found this today. Somebody wrote this article in Ancient Origins saying, hey, that H symbol on Göbekli Tepe might be the same thing that's on these robes of the Jewish priests.
I'm
Okay.
gonna look for that. I see the H.
Yeah, all the priests have it on their.
Yeah,
their
I didn't even
robes.
No,
notice that.
but I mean, I
first.
see it in the
now.
Göbekli Tepe pillars.
Yeah,
I'm over here looking at it.
and there's even that H is also known from some supposedly very ancient ruins in Peru too. So it's kind of weird. It's like, it's almost like, holy crap, it's on Göbekli Tepe. It's all the way around the world. Is this some really ancient symbol?
Yeah,
But
you know,
let me finish
don't think-
one sentence because it'll be the end of what I have to say.
All right.
What really got my attention is that, the work that I'm doing, I've kind of pinpointed Abraham's origin to this area near, very, very close to Göbekli Tepe.
Mm-hmm.
What if his mother's lineage, that Aryan civilization, what if they go all the way back to like Göbekli Tepe or something? And here's a connection of that H from Göbekli Tepe through Abraham's bloodline to these priests in Jerusalem. It's probably some ancient astronomical or zodiacal meaning to it. Nobody really knows, but I just thought this was way cool. Anyway, that's the end of my spiel.
Duppy.
Yeah.
The guys with the robes, with the H's, they all have their fingers up in the air, right?
Yeah. Well, one guy does do more than. Yeah, you're right.
That one guy underneath him, yeah.
Yeah.
No, they all do.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the other guys, they all have their arm across their chest, like the main guy in the front.
Bunch of weird ass Freemasons.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but are you alluding to
elephants.
What?
Where's the elephants come from?
They actually had war elephants in Asia, in the Middle East back in those days. The Hannibal had them, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's not unusual. I think Alexander the Great had them too.
Isn't Hannibal the one that got over the mountain by using the vinegar to melt the rocks and stuff?
I don't remember the story about the vinegar, but you're right. He was a Phoenician or from Carthage anyway.
They couldn't get over this mountain. They all had vinegar, and they used vinegar to soften the rocks up or something to make a path up the mountain and stuff. I think that was Hannibal.
You guys,
I bet it was to melt the snow, kind of like adding salt to the roads and stuff.
Maybe that. Yeah.
Can I share for a second the screen?
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
That's a cool mosaic, though.
All right, so here's the Göbekli Tepe pillars. Here's a corner of one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ankavanka just dropped this in the chat. Q has an H with parentheses around it.
Q does?
Holy Moses.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
crap.
eerie.
It's probably got square brackets, though.
It does have
Right.
square brackets,
Yeah.
but still. Here, let me show. See?
Yeah.
That's a little eerie. Just saying. Anka Vanka found that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about what the H might mean. I don't
Nice one, Kavanka.
think anybody does at this time. It's very
No, but you
much
know what it makes me
debated.
think of is vertical and horizontal application of lamb's blood, like for Passover. I know it's a little different shape. That's a doorway. But whenever I see two verticals and a horizontal, I think of that doorway.
Actually, I did read up a little on what other people thought about what H might mean today, just in a few minutes today. But I didn't really see anything that convinced me. Some guys think it's if you look at Orion, the constellation in the night sky, it might look like an H under certain conditions.
That's true.
I don't know if that's true. I haven't really looked at it.
I was just looking at it the other night when I was at my daughter's house.
Does it look like an H? Does it look like an H? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it can.
Well, I was on my.
There. Go ahead.
I was on the phone with my buddy tonight, who, isn't part of this community or anything, but I kind of brief him on what we're doing and on the work that I'm doing. And when I mentioned this to him, first thing he said was Orion. I didn't even have to prompt him. He said Orion too. I was like, whoa, okay. But the other thing that I read today was somebody did I'd have to go back and look at the details, but they came up with it possibly being related to a gate, just like G. Ross said.
Interesting.
It was something from the language of some word or some. I don't remember the details, but yeah, it's interesting.
Here's kind of a picture of Orion. It's very H-like.
Why is that triangular part at the top?
Yeah, if you throw out that very top bright star, then it does, and only include the belt and the 4 around it. Yeah, that would be like an H.
Yeah.
All right, maybe it's just me, but isn't Orion supposed to look a little different than that? Why is it so triangular-ish at the top?
Yeah, this is just one kind of highlight thing. This is typically.
Well, I know that like that stuff off to the upper right of the belt is his bow. You can kind of see the stars line up in a curve.
Exactly. That's what I was looking at. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at this the other night myself in the sky. And what you're calling the bow, I mean, it was so prominent. Like, that's what got my attention.
Yeah.
So I was looking out past the bow. Super clear night the other night in Colorado, up high.
This is
really
almost.
bright.
I was looking at the triangular part in the middle.
Cool.
He's almost bracketed by parentheses here and here.
Yeah. Yeah, could be.
Wow. You're right.
But can you imagine? I mean, if that's some astronomical thing of great importance to Göbekli Tepe, and it still manifested itself in 2nd or 3rd century Jerusalem, man, that's a long time.
Wait, is there more than one Göbekli Tepe?
There's one Göbekli Tepe, but there's a whole bunch of other ones that they found that are something else Tepe near there. And then there's one.
Duppy, what are?
Go ahead.
What are those ones that look like an H and they're like laser carved, almost perfect? Where's that one at?
That's the stuff in Peru that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
I know they're big blocks, right?
Machu Picchu, or
no, I think it's one of those ones near Lake Titicaca, like Sacsayhuaman or something like that.
That's pretty crazy the way they carved those things, or
Yeah,
however they got made into little H blocks.
yeah. But I have this crazy idea in my head, and this is right up Thaggy's alley, that, what if this really was some ancient civilization that almost died out with the Younger Dryas event, that then settled in southeast Turkey and built these complexes like Göbekli Tepe to transmit knowledge to the future. And Abraham and his family was perhaps part of that.
That's how Moses rolled later on. It's very similar.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that because I've thought about that myself. Whatever this stone society was, I'm thinking they might have got wiped out with the flood.
Yeah, but somehow their technology may have survived through Göbekli Tepe and places like that. So maybe not all of them died.
Well, obviously not because we're here.
Well, unless you think they were aliens or different species or something. So Thaggy, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so even though Anka introduced it, she also took the other side of the argument, which is where my brain was going. Maybe she knew where my brain was going.
So you're saying you have a frog brain?
Yeah, yeah. But I don't see that. I don't see that as a letter, like a Roman letter of the alphabet.
Oh, I'd agree with that. It's a symbol.
Yeah, it's a symbol. If you're going to go back, what is Göbekli Tepe? Isn't it something like 5,000 years earlier than the other cradles of civilization?
9,000 BC or more.
Right. So it predates our other cradles of civilization by 5,000 years.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a letter. I see it as a symbol.
Could be like a chair or a throne.
I think it is a symbol.
I was going to say a bridge. It's a bridge.
Yeah.
You
London Bridge looks like it.
If you're talking about a spiritual,
it's the Tower Bridge.
Ooh, that brings us back to my favorite place.
Common misconception.
Right.
Yeah.
But actually, if you think about it as a spiritual thing, a gate and a bridge they serve the same function.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, my brain, when I looked at that imagery, the symbolism, I thought, what could this be? It's probably a bridge. Is that you have the cross piece on two beams. It's like this is the nexus, this is the crossing point, which is also what it could be on the robes in the mosaic. It could be like spirituality and the priesthood has always been a bridge between you and your God.
Right. Or a gate between you and your God.
Yeah. A pont, a bridge. The pontifex. The pont literally means bridge.
Right.
So that's where my brain went. I'm not looking at it like the letter H or H in kill brackets, like kill Hillary or whatever. I'm not looking at it.
Well, but Q may not have meant it as a Roman letter either. In that case.
Well, I can say from my stuff that certainly Y is in the capital Y is in the Q drops, and I don't think that's meant as a letter either.
Right.
It's a Latin letter. It looks to me like it's probably a Phoenician letter.
Wait, do they use an H as a Roman numeral?
No, I don't think so. Unless it's one of those really high ones that you never see. Like,
hey, can you look that up real quick?
Like 100 billion.
Right? I'm just curious.
Like a Zimbabwe dollar?
No, he meant is it part of the Roman alphabet?
No, I meant
he meant
the numbers.
Yeah.
Oh no, you meant numbers. No, I don't think so.
You know how they use letter as numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of one other thing I found. There's a Hyksos pharaoh in Egypt who lived at the same time as Abraham, and his name is Mabry. So it might be possible that they're the same
Oh,
person.
Mabry. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. But Mabry's his full name is Mabry Sheshi. And you can just look him up on Wikipedia. Well, Shesh in Hebrew is, guess which number? 6. Of course.
Right. 66.
Isn't that wild?
Interesting. The number of a man.
Well, no. Well, doesn't that have also something to do with the way the carbon molecule is
Mm-hmm. Yep.
for the sixes?
Six protons, right?
Yeah.
And 6 neutrons.
And that would mean 6
Or
electrons in a neutral state, right?
And what, like 6 electrons or something like that?
Yeah, it might be. I
think
forget
carbon's
the
pretty
electron
stable.
part, but-
Yeah, it's somewhat reactive, but not
well,
super.
and it
Yep.
is the building block of life, right?
Right. Until we get all this weird silicon-based life that we're creating.
Yeah.
So even though we're divided, like is it confirmed H is part of the Greek and Latin alphabet? I think it is because they have the sun
Well,
god
you
Helios.
can see there it's part of the Greek. It's what is it? Greek number? What is that?
I would dare say it's definitely Greek because they have Helios. They have a number of words that start with H.
Yeah. Are those supposed to be numbers?
I'm
G-Ross,
not sure.
I'm not sure what those symbols represent because that could be like time across the top or something.
But when you think about Göbekli Tepe or whatever it's called, Beckley, what I can't even say
Göbekli
it.
Tepe.
Tepe. Göbekli Tepe. Say that 10 times fast. I just can't see it as a letter. I can't. It's 5,000 years older than any of this shit.
I never meant to imply that I thought it was a letter. I don't think anybody really thinks it's a letter. They think it's a symbol.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're going to describe what it looks like in one word, saying H does the job.
Well, I mean, we've had all these other discussions branching off about linguistics and Proto-Cyrillic and what language did Moses speak or what language did he write the Bible in. It's along the same thread. It's if you think about 5,000 years before Egypt and Babylon, you know they probably didn't have a written language.
Well, and that just reminded me of one other thing I found this week too. But their cuneiform did exist at this time.
Really?
And yeah, so at even Abraham's time. So Moses could have had access to that too. So he could have written the 10 Commandments in cuneiform, or I guess God actually wrote them, right? This other thing that I found that supported this stuff I've been spewing tonight, just in the last couple of months, a set of tablets from Iraq were discovered. They were found a long time ago, but they'd been kind of hidden, and somehow the proper people recovered them and translated them, and they were written in cuneiform. And what it was like the Rosetta Stone. And on one side, it was Akkadian, which is a known language that can be read today. The other side was Amorite, which up until now they knew almost nothing about. And the conclusion that they came up with, and this has been peer-reviewed and now published, is that Amorite has to be the direct ancestor language to Hebrew because it's so similar. They said it was shockingly similar given the time span involved. So again, that kind of supports that, Abraham with his dad Teru being an Amorite vassal king of the
Right.
Amorite emperor Zimri-Lim.
Weren't-
And another thing too, but if you want to ask a question.
Well, I was going to ask, were the letters in Amorite really big?
You know, I don't think they know if Amorites had an alphabet, because this tablet was written in cuneiform for both the Akkadian and the Amorite.
Oh, so the language had cuneiform. I got you.
Yeah. So it was the words that were similar
Right,
to Hebrew, not the letters, because they don't know if they're even.
I was just trying to make a lame joke that hopefully Pete Thaggy got.
Oh,
So you
crap,
guys,
know.
the H's look like eyes if you tip them over,
Yeah, that's true.
and
and
actually,
they also look like a Roman numeral 1,
Right.
right?
some of the glyphs on the Göbekli Tepe pillars are like H's flipped over, and they call those eyes. They don't know what they mean though, but they're
Maybe it's trying
rotated
to stay
90
high.
Yeah. Hi to you guys 12,000 years in the future. What was I was going to say something about Abraham's mother, I think, that I found, but it
Oh,
escaped.
don't you make fun of Abraham's mother, Duppy.
There's nothing to make fun of yet.
I'm just kidding. Don't make fun of my mama.
But I think that this whole idea that she might have been a Hurrian is really interesting. Oh, and I said that Bible passage says that the Israelites are their ancestor, which presumably is Abraham, was the product of an Amorite and a Hittite. And yet I've been calling his possible mother, who I have seen her name somewhere. I just don't remember what it is.
Mhm.
I haven't got this all diagrammed out on the spreadsheet or anything yet. That's going to take a while. But I've been describing her as a Hurrian because Urkesh was a Hurrian city until it was taken over by the Amorites. And it still remained a Hurrian city. Hurrians mixed with the Hittites during this period of time, very much so, and culturally, they were kind of thought of as Hittites in a way. So
There's the H again, Hurrian
yeah,
and Hittite.
yeah, that there
I
could
don't know.
be a reasoning behind that, but that remains to be seen. So that Hurrian culture might be really interesting. What if they are the heirs of that ancient civilization? All right, that's all I had.
Love it.
Hope you guys found it interesting. I did.
Hell yeah.
No,
This was
that dude, I like that you bring that kind of sauce.
Me too.
All right, well, that's all I had.
very cool. That was a great bonus, half hour, 45 minutes. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Kept everybody up late.
I love it.
Nah, when Thaggy and Duppy chime in, dude, they always make it really interesting.
I'm glad we got to come together on the binding night for reasons like Pete Thaggy mentioned. You know, it had kind of been off in the distance, and suddenly it was here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad we got to hang.
Were there
Thank
any
you.
since I unfortunately didn't get to see most of it? Were there any conclusions reached?
Mostly debate, I would say. Like, because a lot of it is really vague, and you try to use some common sense to fill in the blanks. But then even when you do that, you get stuck with more questions. So at some point, it just becomes speculation, you know?
Do you guys ever get the feeling sometimes that trying to put yourself in the heads of people that long ago is almost impossible because we're just so different now.
We played. Yeah, it's a very good point. We played with that a little through the course of the conversation. Like, gonna go kill the kid, right? Everyone's cool with that, right?
Yeah. I do run
There was
into
a
that
good
a
debate
lot.
on that stuff. I never thought about, you guys. Like, did they bring other like servants to bring supplies and stuff with them and animals or whatever?
Right. I was
It
thinking,
seems
like,
logical that they would.
you know, if war is raging on, you really want to be killing your firstborn male? You want soldiers growing up, you know?
Well, if he was in the basement playing video games, I could understand why.
Oh, one more thing I just remembered. One of the ancient symbols of the Hittites that I've showed in my shows before was the double-headed eagle. Remember
Mhm.
that one?
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps through this bloodline, there's a memory of the double-headed eagle symbolism that made its way into medieval Europe and all that stuff.
Right.
It seems like you can never get away from the eagles or the snakes. Like they're all throughout history. You
Yeah,
know?
Right.
It
absolutely.
wrote all the symbology, all of it.
I think the first hour of my canned shows talk about that. All these ancient civilizations, modern civilizations that use an eagle as one of their most prominent symbols. Everything from the Nazis to the ancient Persians, except I think it might actually be a falcon, and it relates to
Right.
Horus.
Mm.
Well, I saw 2 golden eagles on the way home 2 nights ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're so beautiful. I see bald eagles around here too, but not that much.
You know, a couple years back, I learned that eagles will steal from each other. They'll scavenge off of each other. And I thought, how fitting is that that's our American bird symbol?
Mm.
When you
Yeah.
think about, how these politicians are, how our
Yep.
governance is,
Yep.
Now, Yoda, you got a point. I saw a bald eagle with an Indian headdress, full beaded, everything the other day.
That's a little strange.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
the
trying
eagle
to.
stole the other eagle's feathers and made a headdress.
Right.
It was a stretch. Sorry, guys.
No,
I
it's all
was
good.
out of line.
They can't all be singers.
I was
I
sitting
was,
there imagining, like, did this eagle get in a fight with another eagle and his head feathers were all messed up and covered in blood
my
or
first
something like
thought,
that?
my first
No, he
thought was
plucked
like,
that
was he
sucker
at a
and he
casino?
got some beads and he made a headdress and shit.
I thought he was at a casino or something. Like, I was like,
Right.
where is this going?
It came to my head and I thought I'd throw it out there. Sorry. I apologize, you guys.
Awesome.
It was
Oh, fuck. But no, they're all throughout history, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you guys see that post I put on my build page where I made the case that the trident thing on the Ukrainian flag is actually a diving falcon? You ever see that?
ooh,
I didn't
no,
see your build page, but you've mentioned that a couple times on some of these talks.
Yeah, I've given my main talk, the updated version has that slide in it. Well, there was confirmation of that a few months back when a chemical weapons inspection video came out of Ukraine. And right at the beginning of the video, there's a flag covering over the chemicals on this table. And it's a Ukrainian flag, it's the blue and the yellow. But instead of that trident, it's an actual falcon. I have a screen cap on my build page if you're curious.
yeah,
So I think that kind of confirmed
You
that
could show it.
once again, Can I? Do I? Let me see if I have that somewhere convenient.
I think the echo Anka is mentioning is probably coming from, I think, Yoda's channel, but I don't know what to do about it.
Is that the crickets?
No, when Duppy talks, I hear it twice.
Oh.
I'm not sure why, though.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Try muting Yoda. See what happens.
That's a tall ass. Oh, he did it.
I'm a mechanic. Anyway.
Okay, can you guys see the screen?
Oh yeah, it's swooping.
Yeah, it's a diving falcon.
I have seen it before.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody said this was a trident, and one morning I woke up and I saw this flag and I was like, holy shit, that's a falcon. So I went and pulled pictures of a diving falcon until I found one that I liked, and then rotated it to the same orientation as the quote unquote trident. And yeah, that's pretty convincing. But then let me show you the other one.
That flag's a palindrome too. It's perfectly symmetrical.
So here's a screen cap from that video with the flag that was draped over the chemical weapons. And that's a Ukrainian flag, but look at the emblem on it.
Yeah, I've seen that before. When you said that, I was like, I remember that. And this is it looks like feathers.
Yeah,
on
that's definitely a falcon.
Yep.
So, back to Yoda's point, these bird images, the raptor images in particular, are everywhere throughout history, even today.
Yeah.
Now I can understand people's fascination with birds, just to be able to soar through the sky, right? But yeah, they're everywhere.
Oh, and remember, falconeering is considered to be what? The sport of kings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And remember
I
that.
think this image nails it. You nailed it. I've never seen this image, but we know that the blue field is the sky, and we know that the yellow field is the grain of the earth.
Right.
This thing's definitely diving. It's definitely diving.
Yeah. And that
I agree, Pete Aggie.
That first image, I put that out in October of last year. And then it wasn't until this year that I stumbled across this thing here. So I was like, whoa.
This might be a stretch, but could that be a depiction of the
fallen angel, you mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that.
If you like Connectos, yeah, anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean,
Yoda, that is profound.
I mean, because think about Ukraine and the Ashkenazi or whatever they're called, all of the wicked shit that they were involved in. I don't know why that popped in my head. It just did.
So now, where is the Caucasus Mountains in relation to Ukraine?
South.
So
are they on the border?
Ukraine is on the north side of the Black Sea.
Okay.
The Caucasus are on the land bridge between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. So south and east of Ukraine is where the Caucasus are.
Okay.
So like one of the countries in the Caucasus is Georgia.
Okay.
And that Georgia's lucky enough to not have Stacey Abrams. You know me, there's always got to be a Stacey Abrams joke in every show, right?
Duffy, are you still in the foxhole? The chat? Can you see it?
The
The Azov
none
Force
of the
one.
moment.
Oh, Duppy doesn't turn stickers on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
I could turn them on if it's a good one, but I
You should
normally
turn
don't.
them on.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one, Just Jim. It's one of Just
Okay,
Jim's
so-
best.
So that was my first meme.
Oh,
my first meme was
You
the
showed
Ukrainian bird.
you showed me
And-
that like a month ago. One day, I think you DM'd
saw
me that
it?
one. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's another one. I didn't make this one, but you're gonna laugh so hard when you see it. So my stickers aren't loading up that fast, but when you see the Stacey Abrams thing, you need to yoink this sticker, dude.
Yeah, I know, asking if that might be a representation of the fallen is a stretch, but when he pointed out that the blue part is the sky, and it's definitely diving, right?
Well,
Yeah.
how about
And
this?
to the grain, and they have grain there.
How about this little thing to think about, Yoda? Most all of the other ones that I've seen, all of these birds across history in different countries, aren't diving like that.
Right.
So the case that this one in Ukraine is diving, what does that mean? I don't know.
I don't know either. But the other image, the geometrical representation of the bird, I've seen that before. I just forgot about it.
Yeah, I think most people that I showed that first one to, where I was trying to make the point that it was a falcon, but there was nothing to back that up other than perception.
Right.
Most people, as soon as they saw that, went, "Oh man, that is a falcon." So
When
there's
you
something
put it next to that real falcon.
Yeah. So there's something about the image that's in your subconscious that doesn't take much to trigger.
Well, I know this much. I really enjoy Wednesday nights and going over the Bible with you guys. And let's say 5 to 7 years ago, I started noticing like how much real evil is in this world. And going down those rabbit holes is what brought me closer to God.
Yeah,
Understanding that these Luciferians are real, the devil is real, or the devils.
Imagine when the truth of what these people have been doing behind the scenes starts coming out. How many people are going to go through what you went through?
Oh, dude! At least I've had time to process it. But when they get hit with it, it's gonna be just one big ass pill to swallow.
Oh
We've
yeah,
all had time to process it.
That's why. That's why there were all those memes. If you're a member of big, huge red suppositories, right?
Are we? Let me ask kind of a dejected black-pilled question. Are we ever going to get there?
Dude, we're already in the end times. I just hope I live long enough to see, the very end,
I think that's why we're here. I think that's
I
why
like to
we're
think
up.
so.
I just want to see the heads explode in Boulder.
Wait, are you in Colorado as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that there's something very, very wrong with that city. And I've kind of known that since I got here.
Wait, isn't Colorado the one with the airport, the freaky ass airport?
Yep.
Yes, with the Satan horse. Yeah.
That's
us.
I think isn't that horse
CIA.
actually? Isn't that horse actually called Lucifer or something like that?
It's called
Lucifer. It's Lucifer.
That's right, Lucifer. You're right. I knew it was something close to that.
Maker.
Right.
Part of it broke off and fell on him and cut his femoral artery, and he died.
Wait, what happened?
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that
horse killed its maker.
Right.
No, I'm not kidding. You can look it up. It's all
Oh
there.
man, if that ain't karma
Yeah.
for your ass.
Right.
And then they put it back together and put it back up.
Well, they got the sacrifice.
Well,
You know?
I did hear that they took down a bunch of those crazy NWO paintings in the airport. But
Oh, the one with the
Yeah.
masked kids and the nuclear holocaust and all that
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
I haven't been to DIA since the COVID, so I don't know
I
if those are
haven't
still there. But they were there.
I haven't been there in maybe 10 years now.
Yeah, pretty close to that for me too.
I really don't want to go there.
I heard that there's some underground
Either.
Luciferian shit under that airport.
Yeah,
Dude, they have a little trolley car that takes you from one part of it to the other.
Oh yeah, it's a train.
Underground. You go,
No, I'm talking
yeah, a
about
little
lower than
train.
that.
Well, there's
I
a
heard
So Duppy, you've seen on the sides where it goes past tracks that go into a dark hall, like they can switch the switch and go under somewhere else, right? Have you seen that?
I just never looked, you know.
I did.
You know, if I were to go there now, I might look, but back the last time I was there, I didn't know anything.
you know how like they talk
Yeah.
about these domes and these really ancient underground like cities, kind of like.
Deep underground military bases. Dumb.
I heard that there's something huge underneath the airport, and it's connected to other places like across the country and whatnot.
Yeah, they say
I believe it.
that there are, you know, super fast maglev trains that connect all the other dumbs around the country. But I got to tell you this: the guy that really promoted this stuff, Gene Decode, any of you guys
Right.
remember him?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's a shyster. He said some stuff on shows that are geologically impossible, and he doesn't know how to read maps properly. So
Gene Decode has kind of fallen a little into obscurity lately, right?
A little bit.
not panning out.
Remember the Asian chick, like Kirsten or something like that?
Mm-mm.
She used to be on YouTube.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I think she died though.
She kind of looks like she might be Filipino or something. Is that the one?
Are you kidding?
Her family.
I think I saw that girl before.
Her family owns a hotel in one of those Asian countries. I think she's dead, but I used to listen to her, you know, a lot. But then it got to a point where I was just like, yeah, you know what, bitch? I'm really, you know, starting to not feel you anymore because, you know, some of this stuff isn't really panning out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I kind of started feeling like that about Gene Decode too. I mean, I like the stuff he talked about, but
I know some people that actually met Gene Decode, and they said he was kind of an asshole, very, very egotistical, and I called him out on a show one time. This is back in the Patriot Soapbox days. He was showing like Google Earth images, and you know, I made my living making maps, computer generated maps. And so I know how grids work and the artifacts you get if you don't do things right and stuff like that. And because Google Earth is made up of a bunch of different sections of maps that they've merged in together to make one big globe spanning map.
Taken from blimps, just a side note.
Yeah, you get artifacts. It's inevitable that you get artifacts where two pieces come together.
Right.
And he didn't even know about that. And so he was on this show making mountains out of molehills.
Right.
And I called him out, and he wasn't very happy about that. and he said, let's talk more about this. I'll give you my email. Send me an email. So I sent him an email, and he fired back with all kinds of crap. You guys know me well enough that there are topics near and dear to my heart as a geologist that I just don't do. And
Right.
he fired back a bunch of that stuff at me. I was like, I don't even want to talk to him.
I remember I was listening to Scott with Woke to Society's. Let me think. This is about a year ago, easy, and he was talking about Charlie Ward, and he was pretty much like, "Yeah, f that guy," because I guess he was live, and Scott started calling him out on certain things, and he got kind of indifferent about how to answer back. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of shysters out there. A lot.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, people.
If you
All right,
want
so-
to, if you want to see somebody who's really good at exposing them, watch Jordan Sather.
Okay.
He does certain shows. I don't remember if he does them on a particular day of the week or just randomly, but he'll like devote a whole show to outing these people, and there's a lot of them.
Now, I used to love going on YouTube. I had so many channels subbed, and now it's really lame. And then when you do find somebody that has some good content, like Black Conservative Patriot, right?
Yep.
BCP. I think he got deleted. I think he got kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't seen that guy in a long time.
And
he should come over to Foxhole.
YouTube is just so lame now. You know, sometimes I'll go on it just to lift my spirits. I'll watch some of those reaction videos where they're responding to like
music,
funny compilations and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I like the ones where they're like somebody that's never heard a certain type of music before, and then they get wowed by it. I like those ones.
Ooh, I had to look that up. But no, YouTube used to have a lot of great content. And to a degree, you know, you can still find a couple of things. I'll save some links because you know you can create folders and stuff. And then I'll go back to share it with somebody and it's gone. Because YouTube done deleted it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see what Elon does with Twitter.
He's
And
getting
if
to
he
that weird.
adds a video section similar to like YouTube, ooh wee.
All right, everybody has to look at the sticker that Jim just put in
Oh
there.
yeah.
Okay,
Stacey
you got it.
Abrams.
I misspelled walrus.
I don't even think you needed to put that in there. Everybody would know.
Right.
Dude, it
Can you
took
pull
me
it up
so
on the
long.
screen? Hey, G Ross, can you pull it up on the screen so I can see it?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Maybe I can copy.
I made one that's
Did you yoink it, Duppy?
I don't even know how.
You just click on the sticker and it'll say, do you want to add it to your favorites? Say yes.
Right click or left?
Just
it's left.
click.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
All right, I think I
gives
got
you
it.
a prompt to add it to favorites. Add it to favorites. Yeah, now you got it. And so when you turn your stickers on, you go to faves. So you click the pill, Duppy. You click the pill.
Oh yeah,
okay?
I remember this.
Click the pill, and then it says channel, and he's got like he's got Godzilla and Captain Kirk and across, and the Gorgon
All
from
right,
Star Trek.
I've mastered it now.
And then click faves, and then you can put this one in there too.
Hey,
Put this one in there.
Hey Jim, if you want, I'll DM you my Stacey Abrams Godzilla one. See if you want to make a sticker out of that.
That
I
just
won't be able to make a sticker out of it. I can't make stickers. I send pictures to girls that are mods that make stickers, and they make me stickers. They didn't make me that one. They made me this one though.
I'll DM it to you, and if you want, you can see if somebody will make a sticker out of it. I have no clue.
Yeah, you can DM it to me. I made this one, Duppy. I made this sticker, and Ash. Well, I made the meme, and Ash made. She made the sticker like in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not hard if once you know how to do it. But
I don't. I can't make the stickers. I send the girls a picture.
You think they have to do a lot
give
of
them an idea for the for the words.
Yeah. Let me show Duppy. Most stickers are pretty easy, but somebody, I think Winchester 94, casually said, "Hey, do a one where blah blah blah," and it took me forever to learn how to do this one. So since you can see stickers, check this one out.
What are you using, G?
I forget. I haven't made one in a while, but this one to do Marjorie Taylor Greene's head and Nancy Pelosi's head on the.
Oh, I like that one.
That took forever to learn how to do it.
I would think you could use like
Marjorie Taylor Greene with eyebrows that are like up in the air, like she just saw a mouse.
Yep.
You know, G Ross, you might have to update that one to Margie Taylor Greene and Kevin McCarthy at some point.
Yeah. I might still have the files, might be able to do it pretty easy. Would the team mind if
one of those makers that Ash told me to do, and it wouldn't do it. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
So last night, Daisy Chains made me this one last night, and I named it Balls Deep.
Raise your hand if you've been deep in Lisa Page.
That's Pete Struck on MSNBC. Isn't that Nicole Wallace's best buddy?
Yep.
We got Pete Struck on here. They don't even call him Peter Struck like before. They just rebranded him, and now he's like an expert on MSNBC.
These are fake
with
names.
Nicole Wallace.
How the hell that guy's not in jail by now is a mystery.
Dude, did you see his evil face?
Pete Stroke.
Oh yeah, who could forget that? That was
Struck
just like,
or whatever his name is.
That was.
I name him Struck because we're renaming these fuck faces. We're renaming them and embarrassing
whitewashing
them.
That image of his freaking weird demon face at that hearing.
Oh my God.
That was like the first kind of wake up call for me because I just started waking up at that point. I was like,
dude, he was evil looking.
Something is really, really wrong.
Dude, I'm telling you, some of these people aren't human. They can't be.
He just started wiggling his head with that face. Oh my God. Yeah, it's burned in my memory. I almost made the sticker with that picture, and I saw this one with his arm up. And then Daisy Chains, I sent her the picture and the idea we're gonna get the MSM now. You know, we're memeing their asses. And she's like, how about this? Raise your hand if you fit. I was gonna say balls deep in Lisa Page.
Right.
So now I just type it. I renamed it to, when I send the picture. Anyways, that's the newest one. I do one almost every day. Not today though. I'm on here with you guys.
From that same hearing with Peter Strzok, somebody took some of they clipped out some of that hearing, and they added a Pinocchio nose to him. So when he's talking, you see the Pinocchio nose in different angles, and he's shaking his head like, no. Oh my God, that was the funniest shit, and I have no idea how to find that.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Unless it was real recent.
You guys mind if I
this was back
go pass out?
when they were doing the hearing.
So we got this one. We got this one with.
I'm gonna go pass out.
Oh, you guys know Adam Schiff, right? The pencil neck, not a long ball hitter.
Watermelon head.
Yes, watermelon head, pencil neck.
Somebody made this. I could find it.
All right, while you're looking for that,
last sticker because G Ross has to go to bed.
Yeah, last sticker call. I got to get up in like 4 hours.
Here's my last sticker. I'm going to do this one just in honor of Duppy.
Nice.
Aw, thank you. I'll grab that one too.
That's a
Love
great
you,
one.
brother.
I want to know. I want to
zoink
know
that
how.
thing.
I want to know how you guys who made these stickers found that Duppy image. Did it come off of my account?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you right click
Somebody
your
made
image.
it for you.
Excuse me.
Is that the Duppy Files one or another one? There's a couple of them.
Yeah, I think G Ross made the Duppy Files one, right?
Yeah, I posted that one a minute ago.
I was just curious because
I knew G Ross made stickers.
the little Duppy logo thing is just an image that I grabbed off the internet somewhere years ago. It's still out there because I've had to like refresh it a few times in recent years, but I didn't think anybody knew that it was out there necessarily. So I'm like, how did they make these things?
Well, I got it from your icon, just
Yeah.
your thing, but they shrunk those down recently, or not recently. Like, you used to be able to get high res of those, but it was too many people's personal pictures. I think they shrunk them down. You guys want to go around the horn? Anybody got any goodbyes, closings?
I don't. I mean, as weird as the topic is with the whole Noah thing,
Mm-hmm.
Because my friend, the mailman, was so adamant about that's how it went down,
Right.
to the point where I had to call you. You know what I mean? The Bible is weird, people.
Yes, it is.
And if you really take the time to go through it, and I'm not talking about like going to church and hearing a sermon, because they're skipping around all over the place. You're not getting the actual full story of a section, you know? Take the time, go through the Bible, just get blown away by some new shit, and don't gloss over the words. Take the time to really think about, like how we go back and forth over a topic, and then realize the thing. That to me is a lot of fun, you know?
Right.
So to the three of you gentlemen, I'm glad you guys called in and participated. And I'll leave it at that.
Right on.
Thanks, Black Yoda.
Thanks.
No problem.
I'll go next.
Please.
Sorry I missed the first part of the show. As you guys know, I get a phone call every night from my newly woken up friend who has no one else to talk to about this stuff. So I kind of have to hang in there for that. But sounded like it was a good show. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to run my crazy new stuff on you guys and see what the reaction was.
Love it.
Hope you found it interesting.
So totally.
I did.
Yeah, we did. Perfect. Perfectly on point.
Well, I knew when I got to the Gobekli Tepe part, Thaggy would like it.
Exactly.
Prior to that, I wasn't sure.
Thaggy?
That's it. That's it.
Perfect.
Awesome. Awesome night. I'm glad we got to this chapter.
Yep.
What's the next one?
I don't know.
The real weaseling into the promised land with a burial plot.
So more Abraham.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, more Abraham.
Are you going to get to the part where he goes to Egypt?
He already did that. What do you mean?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, I must have missed that. Was that last week?
We did that.
That's a while back. He went to Gerar last week.
Man,
or the week before.
So the next chapter or the next section, it talks about the generations of Nohar and two
Little inbreeding going on there. Yep.
No.
Yep.
Then the age and death of Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Sarah buried? And then at the bottom of the page, it talks about Abraham's servants swear an oath. So yeah, we're still dealing with Abraham.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll get to the meeting of Isaac and Rebekah.
There you're going to get into some breeding stock stuff, which is, I think, going to be
some more weirdness.
Genetics level. Like, he's got some technology.
Which is the wife that Abraham had to go back to Haran, I think it was, to get a wife. Is that right?
Hagar, right?
That'll be the one after Sarah dies. He gets a new one, right?
Yeah, I think I saw something that someone was arguing that the Bible doesn't say Haran, but it says like to his homeland. So he might have gone to Urkesh and gotten another Hurrian wife or something like that. So it might be an interesting one.
Sounds like you need to call in.
So a couple pages later, we get to Rebekah gives birth to Esau and Jacob. That's going to be fun.
Yep. The usurper.
I want to hear an explanation of how Esau was so furry.
Yeah. We'll have to look.
He was Armenian.
Oh, wow.
All right. Just Jim.
Oh, man, you guys. I had so much fun tonight. I appreciate it.
Chunk Yogurt might have some ideas on answering that question.
Yep.
So, Dumpy, that sticker I threw out of you,
I got
it. Came from old Gray Goat.
Oh, cool.
33 days ago.
I will thank him the next time I see him.
Yeah, he made my first sticker for me. I thought it was pretty cool because I'm like an old guy who just is looking around, you know. And so my Just Jim sticker is pretty.
Yeah, I might actually
pretty cool.
I might actually use that one to advertise my presence.
Nice.
Yes, that
I'm closing out my people. I'll talk to y'all next week.
All right, right behind you, Yoda.
Good night.
Good night, Yoda.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when someone makes you a sticker and you're just like, "What? You made me a sticker?"
Yeah, it's like,
you know,
I don't deserve that.
Will the meeting room stay if I go? Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Anyway.
Good times. What a Rev is up again. Good deal. Good deal. Let's start the outro. Oh, let's get some. First of all business is let's release the Scratchy Scratch. All right. Let's see. I can barely think. There we go. So, team, you never know when it's going to just hit and information will densely flow out. It happens. Probably like 40% of the time, 50% of the time, whenever I shut up, basically. But we did the Binding of Isaac. Panelists, thanks so much. Black Yoda, P-Thaggy, Duppy, Just Jim. In the chat, Ankavanka, best mod of all time. I think the only, I gotta look, maybe the only mod on this channel, I think. I can't remember. But we'll be here Friday with Angular. It'll be his last day of school for 7th grade. That'll be 5:30 Texas time. And then Sunday at 9 Texas time p.m. will be Sloan TV and Rev with G. Ross joining in Armor Up episode 5, I want to say. And then back here Wednesday at 11 Texas time. That's the schedule coming up. Let's see if Uncle Krusty's still going. I'm going to swing by and say hi to Uncle Krusty. Maybe I'll see you all over there while I'm breaking down the microphone. With that, I will play the real outro. Love you all. Thank you for spending time with us. We're joined on Fridays by co-host Angular. This has been G. Ross, and you are the underscore. Be sure to catch us on the foxhole.app, DLive, YouTube, or Facebook. Current shows include the Bread Pill Weekly. You've been red pilled, now be the red pill. You're out of the oven and ready for delivery on our weekly alternative news roundup and call-in show on Foxhole, DLive, YouTube, and Facebook every Friday at 5:30 p.m. Central, co-hosted by G. Ross and Angular. Current shows include Epistemology for Fun and Profit, where woo meets goo. You're in the woo, and the woo is in you. A philosophical call-in show with occasional guest interviews, diving into the oldest questions. Most episodes are exclusively on the foxhole.app, Sunday at 11:30 p.m. Central. Current shows include 9dNation, the nation with no denomination. Declare to the custom agents any edible plants or miscellaneous worldviews. We take a look back at how we got here, eventually leading into a regular Wednesday night Bible study at 11 p.m. Central. Catch us on the foxhole.app, DLive, YouTube, and Facebook. Our Friday co-host is Angular. This has been G. Ross, and you are the underscore.